Hey you, come, gather around the campfire, and welcome to the party. This is Party Chat, a JRPG podcast where we talk about everything that we love in the world of JRPGs and other Eastern titles. I am one of your hosts, Cameron Hawkins, and with me, as always, is my party partner, Kevin Kenson. Kevin, how you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm in that kind of mixed situation right now where there's a lot of stuff I want to work on and do, but there's also a lot of games I want to play. As we talked about, October's kind of stuffed. I may have leaned a little too hard into playing some of those games the last couple of days, so I got to balance that out today. This is like I gotta no systems turn on for a little bit unless I'm capturing gameplay. Like I gotta edit some stuff together. But yeah, it's good times right now. Good times. How about you? How you doing?
Pretty good. Like a relatively mixed bag. Saw the Smashing Machine. I went to see what The Rock was cooking, and I thought it was solid. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
like
that's kind of the vibe I've heard. I've heard like The Rock doing like an actual like role that isn't just him being like a lead action hero. Like he did good, and then that was kind of like it was fine.
Yeah. Like the structure of the movie was weird. It bounces around a lot, like chronologically, and it's a very interesting movie. And again, I have no real knowledge of like MMA fighting, but it felt like more of a slice of life, like
Sure.
biopic more than like a hey, here's like all the significant things that this person's done throughout their time in MMA fighting. So
Right. It's not telling you the
yeah.
story of why they're big in MMA. It's like they're assuming you already know that about the person. So here's the
Yes.
here's what their life was behind all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, it was good. It was good. And I would recommend people to check it out. And then on the bad end, man, Kansas City humiliating defeat on Monday Night Football this week. It was embarrassing, like embarrassing. It was like because I only watched like the second half of the game because I was working and then I went to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch it because it was on ESPN. I'm like, I don't have the streaming service for that. And I think the game was 21-14, I believe, when I got there, and Mahomes did two turnovers, one on the 1 yard line, by the way, which returned for a touchdown. So that was already embarrassing enough. And then it was like they're on the last drive. Jacksonville needed a touchdown to win, and we got a PI call on like the 1 yard line. So basically like they, admittedly it wasn't a bad call. Like I'm not saying that the refs gave them the game. But we were able to stop them until like I think it was the third or fourth and goal. The Jacksonville QB trips over twice. And he still was able to run the ball in for a touchdown.
So I'm going to go ahead and let you know I understood roughly 45% of that.
That's okay. That's okay. But you can understand the QB tripped, like fell on the ground twice, and he still was able to run in for the touchdown. That is embarrassing.
That
is
sound pretty
crazy. Bad. It was so bad I laughed at it because it was just it was impossible not to laugh.
Yeah, it was comedic that it was happening in real time like that.
you don't see that happening. You don't see that happen in football. But anyway, so that was a really tough L. And then tomorrow, Twice tickets go on sale. So that is like the exciting, but also I'm scared because I want to go all out, but I also like need to get approved for the pre-sale, and I should find out about that like literally at any moment today, whether I get in or not. And yeah, I'm really excited about seeing Twice again because I don't know if we talked about this on the pod before, but have you ever gone to a show and had proper like post-concert depression.
We haven't talked about this during the regular episodes, but this did come up on the Q&A where we talked about like concerts. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't believe that that was a real thing until I saw Twice. Like, we knew each other at that point where I saw Twice. Like, I went one Saturday night during SGF.
Okay, that was the SGF one.
SGF. Yeah, and dude, the next day, I was probably really bummy to be around. Like, I was like, all I was thinking about was like, Twice was so good.
Why am I not still in that audience? Why did it have to end?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so some cool stuff looking forward to this weekend. And we did get some gaming time in with Ghost of Yotei, and we're going to talk about that during what we've been playing. I'm very excited to talk about this game.
And there's another game
what your thoughts are.
You haven't been playing this past week, but I think it's about time you talk about, because we forgot to last week.
Yep. Last week, totally forgot to talk about Trails because the week before was an all news thing. And I was like, oh, well, I'll talk about Trails the following week. Completely forgot.
Yep.
Completely forgot.
Like, I think we logged off the call, like finished recording, and I went, Cam didn't talk about Trails. Like, that just didn't happen.
Yeah, one of the rare episodes of this podcast where I don't bring up Trails. But we are going to talk about it today. So, but first, we're going to get into some housekeeping for the week. If you have been enjoying the show, please go to youtube.com/@partychatjrpgpod. Hit the subscribe button over there. Or go to your podcast service of choice. Give us a 5-star review. It really helps us out. If you want to send some money our way, we do have a Patreon where you can send a couple of bucks our way. We have different tiers, like getting access to our Discord, getting the episode a day early, our Q&A episode where me and Kevin just like chop it up for 2 or 3 hours every month, and Campfire Catalog, which is our book club podcast. We will be recording the episode on Lunar 1 and 2 next week. And we also have Legend of Dragoon in the works over the past like 6 months at this point. And we also are have our last game for the year being Omori. So we're going to try and get some indie folk on that are big in the indie space to talk about that once the time comes. Very excited to play that for the first time. Lastly, go to youtube.com/Kevin Kenson. Hit the subscribe button over there and help him out as we're trying to get him to 1 million subscribers before the end of 2025. Now we're going to get into the news for this week. A pretty okay news week, which makes sense considering we just got an onslaught of news over the past like 2 to 3 weeks. Sega and Atlas are teasing something regarding Metaphor ReFantazio this Friday, where they're holding a 1-year anniversary live stream special October 10th at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Kevin, what are you thinking here? Do you think this is a Switch 2 announcement? Do you think this is a Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4 Golden treatment type deal where we're going to get a re-release with more content? What are you thinking here?
Well, it is a 1-year celebration, so there's always the option it's just that, right? Like, Sega themselves haven't teased there's going to be any kind of reveal or anything. It would certainly make sense to, like, drop some news, but I don't know how much I'd want to go, like, all in on, like, oh yeah, we're going to get, like, this reveal. If there is anything to show off, I think Switch 2 port makes the most sense to me. Sega's been moving over as much stuff as they can. Persona 3 Reload, is what, this week, I think, coming to Switch 2, or next week? Very soon.
End of the month.
End of the month. Okay, yeah. So, like, Persona 3 Reload is happening soon. If the Switch 2 can handle that, it can certainly handle Metaphor, which is just as multi-platform. So, I think Metaphor coming to that platform in the near future makes a lot of sense. I don't think... I mean, that's kind of the debate right now is, like, is Atlas done doing the re-releases, or are they just going to do DLC moving forward? I hope... Like, if they announce DLC for it, like, that could be neat. If it's a re-release, I don't think they would announce it this soon. It is, after all, the 1 year anniversary, so a re-release announced that quickly feels pretty fast. I want to say normally the time between re-releases is somewhere around like 3-ish years. At least this is what it was for 5 and 5 Royal. So I think it'd be a little too soon for a re-release type thing. Maybe DLC if they're abandoning the re-release format. But I say more than anything, Switch 2 port makes the most sense.
Yeah, I've said on the pod before, I really hope Metaphor doesn't do the whole Persona 5 Royal treatment. If that does happen, will I buy it day one? If it has a cool collector's edition, I might. But I will not play it at launch. I most likely. Like, I just don't want to replay that game this soon. Even if it is like a year or two down the line, I just don't feel the need to do so. And I also feel like that and granted, like, because with Persona 5, I will say that, like, the ending of that game did feel a little bit random in a way that Metaphor didn't. Metaphor very much felt like very complete, and Royal did enhance and make the ending feel stronger. I don't think Metaphor needs that, and so that's kind of where I stand on that. When it comes to Switch 2, yeah, that would be probably more along the line of what I would expect. There could be some other fun announcements where, like, oh, Will, the protagonist, is a racer in Cross Worlds, right? Like, that could be something that they could announce. Like, there could be these other collaborative announcements that they could be doing too. But yeah, I really don't need a royal treatment Metaphor anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, and the idea too of like DLC is always odd for games of this style, because outside of things that don't affect gameplay flow, like costumes and music sets, which is a thing they tend to push, it's hard to add playable content without expanding the game in some way. Like, you either need to add another month, or you need to add like a side standalone like chapter thing you can play, which is exactly what they've done in the past. That's what the re-releases do. They extend the calendar out, or they change the pacing, of what you need to do at what times. Or they are standalone stories like they did with Aegis's chapter for 3, because you can't really add playable content to a game that is literally has like a built-in playable time limit. And you're like, hey, guess what? We're adding more stuff you have to do in the same amount of time. Enjoy. So yeah, content-wise, I think more playable content is unlikely at this current point. But I actually, what you're saying about collaboration would make a lot of sense too. Whether that's in Cross Worlds or something else. Even if it's just crossover costumes or something, like, that is a thing that Atlas really enjoys doing. So
yeah, we'll have to wait and see and report back next week. Next story, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is getting a free update featuring a new dungeon, enemies, bosses, and costumes. Alongside this announcement, this was like an announcement made alongside its 5-month since release. They also shared that the game has officially sold 5 million copies.
just bonkers.
Yeah, it bonkers for a game like Expedition 33 for sure.
Yes.
Sandfall, this is reported by IGN. Sandfall said the update was currently in development for all platforms, but failed to specify when we might see it. They said, quote, "We hope the update we're working on will act as a thank you to those fans for their support. Please be patient while our team is working hard on bringing you something worth the wait." And this is a free update. This isn't a like paid update. This is just a. I know I said that before, but I just wanted to restate that.
Yeah.
And then so just a little bit more details regarding what's coming in this update. It's coming with a new playable environment, taking the characters of Expedition 33 to a brand new location with new enemy encounters and surprises to discover, challenging new bosses for late game players to overcome, New costumes for each member of the expedition, giving even more customization options for players throughout their adventure. New text and UI game localizations into Czech, Ukrainian, Latin American Spanish, Turkish, Vietnamese, Thai, and Indonesian, bringing the total number of supported languages to 19. Plus, even more surprises fans can look forward to. Yeah. And then like, I don't know what this means because I haven't gotten there yet, but they did share like a image that depicts like a child's playroom and a sketch of Verso riding Esquier. Does that mean anything of value to you, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you need to finish the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, it's cool. They're like, I don't even like. Did they hint before that they were planning on doing like content updates like this? Because
I don't
felt
believe
like
so.
Yeah, like this feels like a pretty cool surprise. I also want to say on their website where they have that announcement, there's also just kind of like and more to come in the future kind of thing, implying that they're not done adding like a little bit more to the title. I'm very curious what exact form some of this stuff's going to take because I don't know if we're going to get like little bits of lore as part of this or if it's just going to be purely gameable spaces where it's like, hey, did you want another boss to fight? Cool. Like, there you go. And when it comes to the challenging boss aspect, the game already has like a super boss. So it's like, where do these new bosses come in difficulty wise relative to that, right? Like, if you're the type of person who's put the time in and you've beaten the super boss, are these new quote challenging bosses just going to be a cakewalk? Are they going to have some kind of gimmick to make it a little more different, maybe? Or is it just kind of like another like, okay, these are harder than most of the end game bosses, but super boss is still super boss because that fight is rough.
Yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be a la like Kingdom Hearts 2 final mix where like if you played the original version, Sephiroth was like the super boss, but then once like the final mix stuff came in, you had all the data battles, you had the lingering will, like, and that was just like a whole nother level of difficulty.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's something akin to that. But cool. I will finish this game before the end of the year.
Yeah,
That's all.
I haven't done all the like bonus end game side content. Like I did everything that I considered being necessary for like main plot, which does, in my opinion, include some of the side quests. But there's definitely like I didn't do the super boss, but I have seen what they can do. I have a couple like challenge type things. I held off on that, but if they're gonna start dropping more content like this, I will probably end up revisiting that.
Cool. They did not mention at all like when it's coming out though, so
Yeah.
we're just kind of waiting for a release date for that. Next story. A new patent has been filed by Sega, suggesting, or giving hope that there may be a new Shadow the Hedgehog remake game. Who knows? Hopefully a remake specifically. But yeah, there it was noticed on Twitter by user Sonic City Nets that Sega has recently filed a trademark for Shadow the Hedgehog. They say it's currently unclear which project it's tied to, but we'll likely find out soon. This, makes sense because, well, I mean, first off, probably like riding off the successes of Sonic 3 the movie and Shadow, the Sonic X Shadow generations.
Yep.
And just in general, Shadow being a popular character, we haven't gotten a Sonic remaster in a while. Like the last one was Colors Ultimate, and that was when the first
Well,
Sonic came out?
Sonic Shadow
Something like that?
Generations is technically it's a remaster plus.
Yeah.
It's Generations remastered, and then there's the new Shadow content like on top of that.
Yeah, I like you're not wrong, but I also don't agree. I don't like you're not wrong, but I just don't see it that way. I
It's
guess if that
meteor.
makes sense.
I get it, because there is new content on top of it. It's kind of like a weird. It's like both a remaster and a new thing released together in one package, basically. But yeah, like I get you. Yeah, I feel like Sonic's in general like been on a bit of a resurgence lately. I think the movies are part of that. I think also they've just had some like more solid releases, and like if you had to like I think the coin flip right now, right, is this new game or is this remaster? And I would lean towards remaster, right? Like they
Yes,
got to be doing
yes.
something with the Shadow game. It has not been touched in quite some time. It is definitely one of the more unique releases within the Sonic franchise.
Sonic the Hedgehog rules. It's such a good game. Like I don't care what anyone says. That game rocks.
It's got some neat idea, like the fact that it's like a plot branching Sonic game, well, Shadow game, I should say. The fact that it has like plot branching and you need to like play through it multiple. Like I eat that kind of thing up. Like despite the gameplay being shitty, I thought the bouncer was like fantastic back in the day, just because of how that like did like plot routes. And so I have not
That's
actually
a game
played Shadow myself, but like I know that's part of the gimmick with it. I'm like I kind of want to know. I want to know.
That's another game that needs a remaster. I would love to. I would love to give that game a shot.
I'd be very surprised if Square Enix ever acknowledges it again, but that would be cool.
Yeah. So it is worth noting that apparently, just like in the past, Sega has like suggested that it would be more of a new game over a remake. But I don't know what that looks like, and we already got Shadow Generations, which
I mean, Shadow
so,
the
I don't know.
Hedgehog 2, right? It's just an original plot line with the same kind of basic core gameplay or premise, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because like so apparently in an interview in June of this year, Sonic Team boss Takashi Iizuka actually told players not to expect any more remakes anytime soon. Iizuka gave the response when he asked if we would ever see Sonic Adventure remakes. The Sega developer said they would rather make new games and focus on advancing the franchise. And then he said, quote, "I'm really appreciative of everyone who likes the Sonic Adventure series. But when I think about what it would take to bring that game up to the standards and expectations of what the modern gaming audience would want, I think it would be about as much time and energy as it would be to make a new title. So part of me is thinking maybe I should just make a brand new title. And that's why there are currently no plans for a remake." And like, that doesn't mean that there can't be a remaster.
Sure.
Like, I understand, like, yeah, I understand, because like I don't know if when Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 came to like 360, if those were like remastered or touched up at all, or if those were just like straight up ports. But yeah, like I mean, with Sonic Colors and like all the other remasters that they've done, they can. I don't see this as like cutting out the idea that this could be a Shadow the Hedgehog remaster that's just ported over.
Yeah, it's like it's tough because you don't exactly know what like is in his head of like the difference between a remaster or a remake, or what he means when he says remake. But I would say the general idea is that people do observe that there's a difference between the two, and a remaster would be, again, not no work, but less work than like we are remaking this, redoing core gameplay and like from the ground up and redoing level design. It's like no, this is still the same game. It's just the graphics are shinier. So the other thing too is that like, look, man, a lot of game devs says stuff like this, and then it ends up being like, oh, never mind. Actually, here's that thing they're working on, right? Like we were just talking about this with earlier this year with Yakuza, and it's like, oh yeah, they keep saying Kiwami 3 is like forever away. That's probably not going to be the next title. Who knows how many years we're gonna have to wait for that? And then of course the reveal for this like next big release is Kiwami 3 in like February. So like, I always say you have to take like a little bit of a grain of salt, because it's like, it's not that they're outright lying, but it's like they're not going to tell you what project
Yeah.
they're working on until they're actually going to tell you what it is, you know?
Yeah, it's like the Darth Vader, like, I
I
lied.
lied. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. But man, I would pop off. I would pop off for a Shadow of the Hedgehog remaster. We also need Sonic Heroes too, which I'm surprised it's taken this long. Next story, Nintendo released a animated short yesterday of a little kid in his like little playroom, and we got an updated version of it today, where there's a bunch of Pikmin. And it's led to the internet to theorize that there's going to be some sort of Pikmin announcement coming soon down the line, whether it be like a Pikmin 4 Switch 2 version or like a new entry in the series and what that may look like. But one of the things that I saw online that I think is really interesting to think about, I don't know if you saw this, Kevin, but some people are theorizing that this is Nintendo basically starting work with their own animation studio.
Yeah. I mean, that was
And
my
that-
understanding with this reveal, certainly.
And that they're and that like that you know that they're trying to get into the animation game in a real way.
Yeah, because I mean, so I immediately thought that this was going. Like, I know that the theory before was like, oh, what is this tied to? Is it Pikmin? Is it not Pikmin? Pikmin seemed like a safe bet because the music actually,
music.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just weird because also Pikmin normally doesn't have like actual humans being around and interacting with. But it was my understanding or my assumption that this was all teasing for animated, like this is for animated content. I don't think this is teasing Pikmin 4. I don't think this is teasing, especially that style of animation. This doesn't seem game teasery to me. This seems like, oh, we're going to start doing like our own little series or something. Which Pikmin had that in the past. They had these like online shorts starring Pikmin. I think they were just called like Pikmin shorts or something. And so this seems to be like a bigger budget reinvestment into that, into like a, you know, probably still shorts, but like a series format of, you know, Pikmin related content. And part of the reason why, you know, because the animation style does evoke a little bit of the Illumination vibe. It's not quite the same, but like you can kind of see some similarity. But the reason why people are saying this is Nintendo and not anyone else involved is because usually with this kind of project being put out there, you would see like the branding somewhere for who's worked on it. And at least so far with what they've released, it just has Nintendo copyright in the corner. There is no Illumination branding on it. There is no other studio attaching its name to this. All we've seen is the stuff on Nintendo Today with Nintendo branding. So yeah, I absolutely think this is Nintendo. Like I always thought Illumination was kind of a stepping stone, you know, for this. I think that was Nintendo testing the waters and having a partner. But I absolutely see this as them like doing their own in-house production, especially if it is like a short form type thing, right? They're not making a 2.5 hour movie. They're not making necessarily 30-minute long episodes with 20 entries. Like if these are all, you know, 3 to 4 minute long, just like little things, and they're putting up, you know, one every couple weeks or something, like, yeah, that totally checks out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it evolves over time and see what that looks like, and it could also ultimately be a tease to something Pikmin related as well. That would be a fun little way to do things moving forward instead of having to wait for like a direct, right?
Sure.
To get most of those announcements.
And such a more elaborate way of revealing something, right? Like this is like this is almost like peak Blizzard era type stuff where it's like we're gonna make an actual like little animated series thing to advertise an upcoming bit of content, you know?
Yeah. Next story, Ninja Gaiden 4 has already announced upcoming DLC titled The Two Masters. It's going to have a new DLC story with post-game content, new weapons and mechanics, and it is coming sometime in early 2026.
How do you feel about like that trend.
Announcing DLC before the game's out?
Yeah,
Or
because this isn't the only example of that this year. And like
I
Nintendo has
mean,
done this a lot, and there's a few companies that do it consistently.
I don't see what the issue is personally.
Yeah.
Like, if you are ready to announce DLC, like it's a part of the game, so you're just promoting the game even more, and you also know, like, granted, it's not. You don't know if it's paid or if it's free, but it is one of those things like, oh, I know that I'm getting more content along the way. It's one of those things like, I think that an example of this is a lot more, not forgiving, but acceptable than like a game that's releasing and it's just like obviously not finished and it shouldn't, it shouldn't have released, but it had to release, and then there's just updates over time to make it better. Like, that's the shit that's like, nah, this
Yeah.
isn't good. Like,
When
this
it's-
isn't right.
Yeah, and it's always hard to tell in these situations because we don't have the game yet to know how complete it feels, right? Like I have faith that like, Team Ninja and Platinum is making a polished good game because they have the track records for that. Well,
Exactly.
Platinum back and forth a little bit, but it's always a bit of a fun roughness with them.
It was only Babylon's fault. It was only Babylon's fault. Which and I'll give them benefit of the doubt. It was their first like
Live
always
service,
online
like, yeah.
live service game.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, anyways, I guess the point I was going to make is that like it's rough because I agree with you to an extent, but it's like that requires information we just literally don't have yet because the game's not out yet. And then yeah, it's interesting you brought it up. They didn't clarify if this was free or paid, huh? They just said there's DLC coming.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because it definitely bothers me more when it's paid, because it's like, hey, this thing that's not even out yet, guess what? It's even more money than you thought, because you need to also invest in this if you want, like, all the content. But if it is, like, just a free DLC add-on, then you're like, yeah, sure, cool, like, awesome, announce that whenever you want, who cares? Like, that doesn't, like, more content's fine. I'm sure there's a few, like, physical diehards that are just like, oh, great, content that will forever be not on the disc, love that. But
That's true. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, like, I think that if a game came out that I was super excited for, that I knew was going, I don't know, and maybe it's just because like it's a Ninja Gaiden game, and like this is kind of a new ground for it. But like when I think of like Borderlands, right? Like, I know Borderlands is gonna have a bunch of DLC stories, and it's gonna be paid. Okay, that's fine. Like, it doesn't make me want to buy the base game less. Like,
Sure.
I know that like the money that I'm spending is like worth the value. It's one of those things where I understand that games are expensive. I do understand that. But when it's like a DLC story, when it's like a separate thing that like takes place after the game or whatever, like, yeah, that's something that's going to be money. You're going to spend money on that. And like,
Right.
I don't think that's a particularly like bad thing. And I don't think that we as consumers like should expect every major update like that to be free. Personally, I think, there's great instances where, and I even in that, if I remember correctly, it wasn't free, but like the Sea of Stars DLC, was that free?
yeah.
Yeah,
It-
so
so it
that
originally-
does benefit what I'm
it-
saying is that
It was going
sorry,
to
go
be
ahead.
paid for originally, but they changed that. The original pitch was it was going to be free for backers, and then they were going to charge separate. And then they were like, you know what? Sea Star sold really, really well. We're just going to, like, we have made our money that we were planning on making and then some. So we're just going to make this free for everyone. And hopefully that's like goodwill energy towards our next like project and release.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example of like, hey, this makes total sense. This is awesome. Like, this is a thank you to the consumers for supporting the game. But again, just the other side of the spectrum. Like, yeah, there's going to be DLC for games. They're probably going to be paid. and you can choose not to buy it. Like, you know what I mean? You can
No,
you
for
can decide
sure.
to opt out.
Yeah, and like, look, I don't get like heated about it, but I can also understand a little bit when yeah, paid DLC happens, and there are some series where I know it's going to happen because it's just that's what it is. Borderlands is a great example of that, right? Where it's not a live service game, but they certainly have a planned. Like, we're trying to make this a more living game for, a year and a half or whatever as we add new areas and zones, and there's a season pass that adds, like, bigger content chunks, whatever. But I can understand, like, a little bit of saltiness of, like, I haven't even bought this game yet, and you're trying to make me spend an extra, like, $20. Like, what? It's one of those things where it's like...
Can't relate.
It's just one of those things where you don't even know if... It's the FOMO driving home, right? It's like when a game doesn't allow review embargoes until the day it's out. It's like, there's nothing immediately directly wrong with that, but it also just feels a little off. And it feels a little weird where it's like, you want to ensure I pick this thing up and spend the most amount of money I can on launch day before I really even fully know the value of what I'm getting into. And obviously, people can choose not to spend that money, and like at the end of the day, you're the one clicking buttons and hitting things. But it's also no secret that they will oftentimes try their best to drive home like why you need to buy this right away. Like Pokemon recently was a great example of that, right? Where
And I think that is a bad thing that they did. Like, that's a great example of, like, this is not how you do, like, early DLC announcements.
Yeah.
With the, hey, if you pre-order, you get the Raichu evolution stones, or you get, like, certain evolution stones by pre-ordering that DLC early. And it's
you
like,
have to, like,
what?
There's content it adds immediately on launch day if you buy it as soon as possible before the DLC is even released. Yeah,
and it sucks. And it's one of those things where, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it but it does suck. Like, it's not suck in the sense of, like, spending money, but because you have that FOMO of, like, here are these things that you can only get this way.
yeah.
Or at least for the first, like, year or so, right? Like, for the first year, they're gonna be like, yeah, you can't get this any other way unless you did this. That really sucks. But also it's the Pokemon company and they can do what they want because they're just like,
yeah.
And yeah, so I understand to a certain extent. Like, there are definitely ways that it can be done, not predatorial, predatorily, but like just not great.
A little bit,
a bit, but that's not particularly the word I'm looking for.
Sure.
But I just think, like, in general, if someone's just if a game is just like, hey, this DLC is coming post-launch, and even if they do, like, share, like, the price, which I don't think they're sharing the price for a reason, because they don't want people to be completely turned off that they don't buy the base game.
Right.
It's just like that. Then like, hey, there's more coming, and if you're interested in this, cool. If you're not, you're not, and I think that's perfectly okay. Some quickies for the rest of the news this week. Limited Run is holding their third anniversary. No, not third anniversary, but they're showing they're doing, like, it says LRG3, so that's why I was like, I was confused. But they're holding a showcase on October 29th. This is similar to the ones that they've historically done during the summer around E3/SGF time. So a lot of big announcements are likely to be there. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds Minecraft DLC is coming October 8th, so it is out now. And Yuka Replayly Physical Edition is launching on December 18th. I just want to share that just because physical media, the whole game's going to be on the cart. So if you want to support physical media on Switch 2, you have that option.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about it on the pod, but Hades 2 is another one that's doing that.
Nintendo's publishing it.
Yeah, it's a later release. I think it's like November 20th or something.
November, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But happy to see at least a couple games. Nintendo publishing, it makes a lot of sense. I don't think I actually caught that before, so that would definitely explain
If I remember correctly, yes. Oh, breaking news, a Donkey Kong movie is reportedly in the works at Universal.
That's really funny. Just knowing the full history of that.
What do you mean?
Oh, so historically, a big problem that happened in the early years is that Universal sued Nintendo over Donkey Kong because they were
Oh,
saying that it was infringing on King Kong. Like this is clearly like you guys are
oh,
making a game based on our character, and like sure you put Donkey instead of like King, but like that's like it's a guy holding a girl at the top of like a tower that someone's trying to rescue. Like come on now, and that was like a whole thing. Um, so it's very funny that like that happened all those years ago, and here we are now, where it's like Nintendo and Universal working together, making Donkey Kong.
hey, look at us.
Look at us. I wonder what design he'll have. Do we change it again?
Probably not. It's
Yeah.
gonna be Seth Rogen, which is still such a weird choice to me. But
Honestly, of all the castings in that movie, that's not one of the ones that bothers me the most. I didn't love it, but if I had to rank like the performances in the Mario movie I did not care for, it is not one of the higher ones that bothers me.
where do you stand on Charlie Day as Luigi?
I feel like we didn't get enough screen time with him. I actually liked it.
Okay, because here's the thing: like, if someone told me that they love it, I'm gonna be like, "I'm with you, brother." But if someone told me that they hated it, I would also understand. I would totally get it.
It's
like,
a very
no,
specific take. It's a very
Yes.
specific depiction of Luigi. I
Yes.
think I'm very surprised that we are not more like sooner on the calendar getting like a Luigi's Mansion movie. Like I thought that would have happened before a proper Mario 2.
So cool.
Because like that's why you cast Charlie Day as Luigi, is you want him to be stressed out and freaking out, and like and like that's why that's a good pick for that particular role, I think.
Yeah,
where it would like fit.
That'd be really fun. That'd be really fun. I still, a little bit of a tangent, but and I said this like the day at that I saw Sonic 3, but I think Stephanie Shu would be perfect as Amy in Sonic 4.
Oh,
I
yes,
don't think it's gonna.
I think you said that.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's gonna happen because I don't think she's like a big enough name, sadly. But because I saw her in, I watched her in Joyride, and it really showed her comedic chops in a way where I was just like, I think she would be really great as Amy. So you heard it here first. If you didn't already see my take on Twitter, so hopefully it happens. Now we're gonna get into what we've been playing this week. Trails, everybody. Trails. Yeah, I think this is the best remake ever made. I really do.
I just
really,
love that's the cold open.
really
it's not
do.
even like it's not like yeah, like I've spent like you just immediately go best remake of all time.
It's one of those things where I kind of can't believe the game exists. And I would say that's comparable to when I played Final Fantasy VII Remake for the first time, which I also think is like a masterpiece in its own right.
Very different situation too.
Very,
though.
very different situations. But like, I think this is the best example of like, hey, we want to make basically a 1-for-1 remake and just modernize it, and it's so good. Being able to have like the liberal crew not fully voiced, but mostly fully voiced. Like I would say like 85% of the dialogue in that game by the main cast is voiced, which is really impressive. Which is more than I would say like any other Trails game has been, which is really cool. The I was a little bit worried about the combat when I talked about my demo impressions, but it just gets it definitely it grew on me, and it just got better over time. Like they introduced new mechanics that made it just even more fun, and they fixed the speed up problem that I told you about, where you have like the follow up thing, but when you have it in high speed mode, it
Like,
speeds
by.
that up as
Yeah.
well. They fixed that. I don't know if that was like a demo issue or
Like an early build
base,
they knew they had to fix or something. Whatever. Yeah.
I do not know, but in the base game, in the full game, not an issue at all, and I was so happy. Yeah, the cast is great. all the voices, like the characters, it's all perfect to me. Like it's all so good. And it's just really cool seeing other characters that are only in the Liberal arc voiced for the first time, which is really cool. There's certain characters that I was like really curious as to, oh, who are they going to cast as this character? Because I've talked about Olivier, but my second favorite Trails character is a Liberal exclusive character. And then I found out that he was voiced by Travis Willingham, which is pretty crazy considering he doesn't voice act remotely as much as he used to. So him taking on a new role is pretty cool, and that's dope. And I think I saw. I don't remember where I saw. I think it might have been on JRPG Pursuit, because they had George Peter on, who's the voice of Colonel Richard, who's one of the key characters in the first game, and they were talking about like how he found out that this character was voiced by Travis Willingham, and he's just like, oh shit, like that's crazy. And so
Maybe he's a fan.
Those,
I don't know.
yeah, well, no, he's gotten into the series, and like Travis Willingham. I mean, like he's a legend.
Yeah.
Like Roy Mustang, like yeah, come on. And so that was really cool, because I think initially I forgot who I thought it was at first, because I heard his voice, and I'm like, I've definitely heard this voice before. I just don't know where. And then I had a guess of someone, and then I found out that, and I literally watched the credits specifically to see who voiced this character. And then I saw it was Travis Willingham. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. But yeah, so that was cool. And I think that just like the presentation, especially in boss fights, really cool, really cinematic. And I'm just so happy. I don't know what else more to say. There are some quality of life things that they did, where in the original there are like secret quests,
Right.
where like you just kind of have to run into them. So shout out to like the people that initially like talked to every NPC to find these secret quests. They basically like streamlined them, where like, oh yep, they're just like a bracer request that you do, or they integrate it into an already existing quest. So like, for example, when you get to a certain town, you're going to a library and help this woman return these books, right? And in the original, you would do that twice. There'd be like the main side quest, and then there would be a secret quest where you would do more. They just put that all into the single quest,
Yeah.
which is like very nice that they did that.
It is very interesting how there's this kind of difference between, I feel like older games had the assumption or the push that like, hey, you're going to talk to everyone, right? Like, you're going to talk to everyone, right? And a lot of new RPGs are like, you're not going to talk to anyone. Okay, so here's how we'll make this work. Like,
but I miss that though. Like, I think that I just think that the Trail series does such a good job at doing that kind of storytelling with the NPCs.
for sure.
And like for one example, in the first town, like where Estelle's from and stuff, you'll see like this boy. There's no dialogue. This is all just like world storytelling, I guess, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You see this kid like alone. Like you can tell that he like kind of wants someone to hang out with, and then there's like this old woman sitting on a bench, like reading a book or something like that. And as the game progresses, the boy starts moving. Every time you're in the town, he's in a different location, and then by the time you're like done with the town, the boy is sitting next to the old lady, and they're like talking and stuff like that. It's like those kind of things. It's just like, this is so unnecessary.
Right. This attention to detail. Yeah.
Yeah, but you get so many points from me because you did this.
Yeah.
But then, and that's like the non-dialogue stuff. And then you go to the dialogue stuff, and then you just like, you're consistently learning things about the town, you're learning things about the world. Like, it all matters in a way that just doesn't exist anymore, or just doesn't exist, and
Right.
it's just so good. But yeah, I think that now's the time. Now's the time to get into trails, everybody.
So I have two questions for you on this.
Yeah.
Because I don't want us to, we do have other topic stuff, but I know this was a big release for you. One, before it released, one of the things we talked about that was a bit of a fear for you was whether or not they tried adding a lot of like future facing cameos, right? Like, oh, like here's like hints at stuff that's happening in this game that if you've played it, you already kind of know about it. And it's like, you were worried that maybe there'd be too much of that, or it would like kind of break the immersion of like the original game. Were there any like winks to the camera that way? Were there cameos they added that actually felt like pretty good? Nothing
Nope.
new like that.
Nothing new like that, thankfully. And I think that I think I remember seeing in kind of like a video where Kondo was answering fan questions, and one of the things was like, "Did you make changes to the story?" And they were just like, "We thought about that, and we're like, I don't think that's we don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We want this to stay true, like that type of deal." And so I'm glad that they did that, because there's definitely certain characters in like from Erebonia and the Calvert arcs that could have shown up in Liberl during this game that just didn't, which is really nice. They've done that in the past with the Crossbell games. Like they kind of refit a character that was later introduced in the Trail series in there, but she was like actually from Crossbell. So it was an inoffensive ad, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like it was a non-consequential
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so not an issue there. One thing that is on my on my mind that I do think about, like if there's like one like small criticism I have, is that the system that they use for the combat with like the follow-up stuff, that was in the Cold Steel games, and in the lore they were able to do the follow-up attacks because of their orbments and how they like synchronized with their orbments. In Trails, that does not exist. It's just like, nope, we're just doing follow-ups. We're just doing
like,
follow-ups.
The mechanic's just here now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that is like the one thing. It's like, I wish you gave a canonical reason as to why you could do this, but they didn't. So it's
Darn.
like, okay, you just gotta roll with it.
Yeah. And then now that you're out the other side of playing it, before, I think you were pushing a little bit the narrative of like, it's still a good idea to play the original to then like, because you're, going into 2. At the time, we also didn't know 2 was going to be happening this quickly. Or, well, we know 2 is coming. We don't know the date yet. Are you still like, oh, like play the original if you can, or are you just like, nope, this is the definitive way now?
That's tough. That's a tough question.
I do want to shout out real quick. Whenever you have a long pause thought like that, I sometimes think about noting it down, like, oh, I should cut out that dead air. No, that was important dead air. Like that was like oh no, that made you go.
I'm in deep thought. That's tough. I think that I guess the historian in me would be like, if you can play the original, because also who knows, like we might get part 2 next year. If not, it'll take another year. And it's like, knowing how that first game ends, I know I wouldn't want to wait 2 years to see what happens next. And so if you play the original, then you can just hop right into the second one. You're not getting like this gameplay change.
Right.
And then eventually when you feel the need or want, you can play the remake and experience it that way. But like, so ultimately, like if you've played the original, I would say like, yeah, this is the definitive version, even though I still do really like the turn-based aspects of the original. But they, I think the things that I was really hoping that they would add, that they or bring back, that has kind of dwelled or been streamlined over time as the series has gone on, they did bring back, right? Like you can get a laundry list of spells again. I'm like, yes, this is what, like, the orbment system matters. Like the lining system matters in a way that I care about, and that's great. Like that was something that I was really worried about that's back. The like allowing to kind of characterize Estelle with certain decisions where like the decision you make is like you'll get like bracer points that'll go towards your rank if you choose correctly. And it's like you're seeing like Estelle, if you choose correctly, like you've seen Estelle like kind of like mature and like learn, because she's even though she's a bracer, uh she's not very intelligent, right? She's not very intelligent. And so she's like learning these things, and how do I explain it? You have these, you get put into these scenarios, and then like you have to have Estelle choose like, oh, are you going to do this or are you going to do this? And like one is good, one is bad, right?
Yeah. I think a classic early example from the parts I've played is like you have the option to rush in to try and save someone, or it's like, hey,
right.
like do something with like wait for
With
your
Joshua.
teammate. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're like not like these super challenging choices, right? But like if there's an instance where you do mess up, like it shows that like Estelle's like learning from the situation, and like it gives a bit more characterization to her, which I really appreciate. Because I think that Estelle and Joshua are just one of the best examples of like yin yang type characters where you kind of can't have one without the other, which is why I really like dislike not thinking of Joshua as like a co-protagonist in this story. Like, yes, the story evolves around Estelle, but Joshua is like
Estelle is the POV, but there is like Joshua is just as important to like where the story goes and how it's shaped. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, especially when you get to second chapter, because I think that like the first game is very streamlined in its structure, where you have Estelle and Joshua, you go to a new town, you meet a new party member, they're kind of like your exclusive party member for that chapter, and then you go to they depart from you, and then you go to the next town. In the second chapter, you're jumping all over the place, like you're having people come in and out of the party, like it's structured in such a different way that is really fun and engaging, that like it's just not your traditional JRPG in that sense. But yeah, this is my game of the year. I don't particularly see that changing. I think that it's just, it really just reminded me how good the liberal arc is. Like I always thought it was the best one. And then you talk to more people and they don't feel that way, and then it makes you kind of like doubt, like am I off base here? And then you start playing the game and you're just like, no, everyone else is wrong.
I'm
like,
100% correct.
I'm 100% correct. I just think that like the way that they kind of laid the blueprint of like how a Trails game is structured, it's just like that's why like the first game is so good. It's just like, and the cast is just so diverse and unique, that you just can't help, and they give you time to like hang out with these specific characters, instead of like it being you kind of have to like juggle multiple characters at once. So it gives like a specific set of time to dedicate to be like, all right, here's your time with this character, get to know them, and the focus is on them. And it's really great. Matt Mercer as Olivier, chef's kiss, so funny. Michelle Ruff as Sherazard, really great too, because like this is the last thing I'll say. I think that this game also, especially having the voice cast, gave me more appreciation for certain characters. And again, like this is my favorite JRPG party. Like it's not like I dislike these characters, but like Shara was probably near the bottom of my list of like the party members I liked. And they just gave her, I think, much more personality because of the voiceover and like things like that. That I love it. I love her now. I think she's hilarious as well, and it was really cool just like seeing Michelle Ruff be able to come back all these years later and like properly characterize her.
Yeah.
You know, Agate. It's not Bryce Papenbrook. You know, he's been recast since Cold Steel 3, but he's great as Agate. He's so good. And he has really great moments that just made me be like, damn, Agate is so cool. And I have a newfound appreciation for him even more so. And then Jin. Jin is really great. And I think that we were talking about this in the Discord where Mitch was playing it, and he was just like, I just feel like that they're not doing a whole lot with Jin, and like and I was like, just wait, dog. And he was like, you were absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because again, I also like didn't think much of Jin either the first time around, and now I'm just like, oh no, he was like so good. He's so good, so important. And yeah, I love that entire party. I love that entire cast. Everyone's so well voiced. The other thing I do want to mention, though, this is actually my main criticism of this game. They pronounce liberal wrong, like the entire game.
You were talking about this during the demo too, right? They say liberal, like
It's
being liberal. Yeah.
It's liberal, and I hate it. I hate it so bad. Because in the beginning of the game, they say liberal like pretty consistently.
Yeah.
And it felt like at a point the voice director said, "You know what? We're changing it," and they didn't re-record those original voices.
Or that was a very common mistake, and the voice director just gave up at some point, just like, I'm not going to correct him. Get to the next line. Let's go.
Because another thing too is that like Jin, I always read him as Zin because it was Zin, right? Mm-hmm. And then when he's introduced in Daybreak, they call him Jin.
Yeah, ZHIN,
because
right?
Because they have voiceover, and it's like, cool. I'm gonna call him Jin from now on because now I know. They call him Zen again, and it's like, no, dog. Like that is the only, like, that is the biggest issue with the Trail series, is that just there hasn't been a consistency in publishing. Right. So it's just like, depending on who you go to, your results may vary, and that's really frustrating.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Damn.
Yep. But those are my only criticisms. I still think this is a 10 out of 10 game for me. So, Kevin, we have both been playing Ghost of Yotei. Talk to me about it.
Yeah. Look, man, it's more Ghost. Not entirely fair to just say it's more Ghost, but like, it's very clearly the next game in the same line of series. There are refinements, there are changes, there's stuff worth talking about. I think the biggest thing for me going from like Tsushima to this is that I like the main character and a lot of the plot pitch more. I never really cared that much for Jin in Tsushima.
I agree with you.
Yeah, like I don't think like especially when there was all the outrage with like, oh, they're adding a female protagonist, like justice for Jin. It's like, why are we suddenly Jin stans? Like where are all these fans coming from that think he's like this incredibly well written character? Like, dude, he was not.
Dude, I'm not trying to go on a huge tangent here, but it was one of those things where I was, I've been playing Ghost of Yotei, and my roommate has been replaying through Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And I know that he loves Jin as a character. And I go into these conversations knowing, because he's like one of those people, and that's kind of just like how our friendship is, and it's okay. Because, sometimes you have these type of friendships where like, if you disagree with them on something subjective, they want to like debate about it.
Right. They want to be a little combative about it. Like, let's get into it. Like, yeah.
No, they want to debate about it. And it's not, and it's a very passive way that they want to debate about it. And it's just like, I knew going into the conversation of me talking about Ghost of Yotei to him, I was just like, I knew that this topic was going to come up because I was going to talk about how I feel about Atsu versus Jin. I'm not trying to like persuade you, and you're not going to persuade me. I just like don't think that Jin is that compelling of a character. And he's like, but he's fantastic. I'm just like, no, he's not. I'm sorry, dog. Like he's really not.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, no. So anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so like I think that's one of the immediate upgrades is that I do like Atsu like more as a character. I think part of it is because this is a thing that's been kind of coming up, I think, in a lot of conversations about AAA games, their depictions of like violence and how characters reconcile it. Like there's been this very heavy trend of like, oh, we're gonna have like cool action power fantasies where you're a badass, but you need to feel bad about it, right? We get a lot of like revenge is bad storylines and like, you know, Kratos' whole like Norse arc is him being like, maybe I was a little too angry back in the day. And not that there isn't like shades of that in this one, but I really enjoy the fact that they play with it more externally. It's not so much that Atsu feels bad about like being violent. It's more like, no, I have like shit I'm trying to do. And then you have other characters every now and then they're like, okay, wait, hold on. Like maybe it's like, can we like calm it down a little bit? Can we take it back like a notch? And you're like, no, I gotta kill everybody. They're the only dissonance I've gotten so far with her character that does bother me a little bit. And it makes sense to an extent in some cases, but they'll every now and then have her give lines where it's like, oh, you know, I'll take any bounty job that pays. I just don't like harming kids or animals. I've had to shoot so many dogs in this game that are like trained dogs by the enemy. And it's like, I get it. They're like trained by bad guys and they're coming after you, but it feels very tonally dissonant, like out of nowhere to me.
I mean, like it's different when like you are in self-defense. Like,
I know for sure.
If it's like if it's like a mission like, hey, I need you to kill this dog, I'm like, I'm not killing that dog. Fuck you.
Yeah. It just felt, I guess it felt more out of place to me. Like it didn't bother me as much in Last of Us because I think Last of Us is just making you feel bad all the time anyways. But it felt more out of place here for me. But like, yeah, man, like it's more of all the things I liked about Ghost. I think they do a good job of having like the open world checklist formula, but it's not like overbearing. Like this is a thing we talked about when I was playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? It's like I don't mind going around doing the checklist, but it's kind of annoying when, you know, one repeatable mission you have to do 30 times is visit this shrine and then bow to shrines, and like that's it. That's what the thing was. Yotei, I think, at least has like some good, like, yeah, there's the checklist of places to go, but like there's pretty much always going to be at least some combat involved, or maybe like a little bit of lore, or like there's enough substance to each like repeatable thing that I'm like more okay with it. Engaging with it. I think their cosmetic game is great. I wish there was maybe like one or two more outfits, but all the ones that are there, especially when maxed out, look pretty good. The like core gameplay changes. It's really funny how like the multiple weapon system is not that much different from the stance system, but the fact that it's weapons like registers in your brain so much easier. Because I absolutely had problems in Tsushima where I'd be like, oh, you have to use the low stance when fighting spears, or you have to use this stance when fighting this type of weapon. Whereas Yotei is like, oh, guy with a shield, you want to use the Kusarigama. Oh, person like a big heavy brute, you want to use the Odachi. And it's like, because it's a weapon, it's just a much cleaner immediate like association in my brain, where I'm, instead of trying to be like, is it low stance, is it high stance, is it like, just because it's weapons, even though it's the same basic concept, I feel like I remember it so much more cleanly in this one.
So a few questions before I go on to my thoughts.
Sure.
How many hours have you played?
I think I'm in like the low 20s, mid 20s maybe.
Okay, so you're definitely probably past me. How many people of the Yotei 6 have you killed?
3, but I've also done ton of side content. I've done.
You're way ahead of me. Then.
I've been like clearing areas. Like I've been like I am not like I'm exhausting the things to do in this zone before I move on ahead.
Yeah, so I'm at the point right now where I am looking for the Oni, I believe.
Yeah.
And
did you do Kitsune or did you go straight to Oni? Because you can technically do them in like either order.
I did Oni first because I'm going just up the map.
Yeah. No, I also did Oni first. I wanted to make sure because you can do those in the order you want. Yeah. Yeah,
which is cool and interesting. Yeah, so I'm in the plains, the Ishikiri plains or whatever it's called. And so I just kind of got there, and like I've started doing side stuff there. I've done like all the side stuff outside of the super boss. You
Sure.
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then like the Saito stuff, which I assume you want to save that for last. Those are the only two things I haven't done in the
Yeah. I
first main area.
I will say the
So-
Saito quest early on is kind of actually meant to be done early on. Like, it feels like
Oh,
you're supposed to
really?
save that, but yeah, it actually is meant to be like oh, you should maybe try this, and then you go on to hunt the others. But they allow you to do it in whatever order you want. There is a cutoff
Interesting.
point where you have to like finish all these missions before the next act starts, basically. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Did you have any other thoughts you wanted to convey?
I think the biggest thing was just the character update and enjoying that. I feel like there was. Go ahead and bring up your points, and then if I have like, we can get into like
Yeah.
criticisms or anything.
So- So, I have I have mixed feelings about like just the differences compared to Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei. I do like the side content more in this game.
yeah,
That being said, I think that Ghost of Tsushima just had more of a vision on what they wanted to do, whether it be like Jin as a character, the story, the kind of like the design of the kind of upgrades over time, and maybe the upgrades and stuff that might be just like, oh, it's the first game, like you kind of associate it with
sure.
that.
There's things where it's like it's the first one, and therefore that's where it really like you feel like there's that intention across, and then the second one is like, did they just do this again because that's how it was the first time around? Like, are we
Yeah,
just
'cause-
repeating formula? Yeah.
Yeah, because again, when I was talking with my roommate, and he was like, he was kind of like scrolling through the Ghost of Tsushima menus, like the gear stuff and everything.
Yeah.
When I was talking to him, I was like, this seems more in depth than what Yotei has. Take that for what you will. I didn't like decide to open up Tsushima again just to look, but I was just
Sure.
like, oh, this feels like that there's more here. And then when it comes to just like Jin versus Atsu as like main characters, because of like that vision, like even though I don't think that they nailed what they were trying to do with Jin and his character and like his like kind of his friction with
Yeah.
with
Himself.
killing people and
My
stuff.
honor. Yeah.
Yeah, his honor and stuff like that. Atsu just is kind of just a person that's trying to kill people. Like I'm not really getting much more from her
Sure.
outside of that. And there are certain things in the story, like there are some genuine like twists in the story, or it's like, oh shit. And she like does make some surprising choices in response to learning certain information that I did not expect. Without going into spoilers, where I was just like, okay, like I kind of like this. I kind of like that they're going this route.
Yeah.
Part of it to me, without going into spoilers, is just like, well, yeah, we can't have this character like we need her to be by herself.
Yeah.
So part of it feels that way, but like from a narrative standpoint, it is a more interesting choice there as well.
Yeah.
Which
I do
like.
think part of the problem Atsu runs into is, I could be misremembering how it was in Tsushima, but I feel like Tsushima, it kind of gated main story progression a little more, whereas Yotei is a bit more open right away. Like we were saying, you could do the Kitsune or the Oni in either order, and that brings problems with how you handle character progression, because it's very hard to have a established arc when the order isn't set. Right, there are certain things that are set, and I feel like a thing with Atsu that I'm experiencing so far is I basically just started what the game considers Act 2, but again, I spent a lot of time doing side stuff just to do side stuff. I think you're going to see some more stuff from her that's interesting and good. It runs into problems because of how it's paced, because the game is right now kind of being like, well, we're not entirely sure which plot arcs you're going to do first or in what order, and so we kind of have to hit, like, she can't have that much progression right now because we can't have her totally change personalities, like, just finishing the Oni, because what if you did Kitsune first? Or, you know what I mean? Like, it messes with how they can pace that. And that's kind of a cost that comes with open world emphasis.
And that is exactly what I said to my roommate about Jin. I was just like, if you weren't like doing a mission where he's like, oh, I'm conflicted that I just like assassinated this person and, you know, I have no honor, and then you do side quests for 5 hours just assassinating people left and right.
Yep.
That whole idea of Jin's inner struggle just doesn't hit. It just doesn't, like, if they did that kind of story in a linear like action game, it would be way more compelling.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was trying to tell him, like, I think that they had an interesting idea, they just didn't get the structure of the game fails that idea, because you can like literally spend 10 hours doing non-story stuff where like this thing that Jin is struggling with isn't a reality. And
Yeah.
so
and like that's not to say Atsu doesn't have a struggle, but I think that they change what her issue is in order to try and dodge that problem that I think Jin had, right? It's like, look, there's no mixed feelings about her quest or like how she goes about it. Like she is resolved. There is like a character development moment, I think, especially in the transition from Act 1 to 2, where it's like, okay, now I kind of see what like her kind of more internal debate is now, but it's definitely not, am I okay with killing? It's like, she's very okay with what she's doing. And I think that was an intentional choice to kind of contrast with Jin. And along with like the type of story, right? Like they're definitely leaning more into sort of like the wandering swordsman kind of vibe, and less into the like, oh, you're a samurai struggling with honor. Like it's a very different like outset with the character.
Yeah. But some of the new things that they added into Ghost of Yotei, I do really like. So, like one of the first things you do when you start the game is you go to her home. You go back to her home because she's been like away. She's like was fighting in a war, and she comes back because she wants to finally like take down the Yotei 6. And you go to her home, and there's like these memories that happen there. Where you get like some background of her story, and you like become like a young Atsu, and there's different scenarios where you kind of like learn like how she learns the samisen, and then like how she learns the mini game. Oh, what are your thoughts on the mini game, the coin flick game?
It's fine. It's one of those things where they're definitely trying to showcase like, dual sense features, and like you're feeling the tension in the trigger more when you're doing like the flicking. Like it's I've played a variant of that minigame before. I think it's neat. I think it's those types of games are always funny to me because it's so momentum based. Especially because you always have the first turn. If you get good enough at it, it's just like there's nothing the AI can do, and you're also kind of at the mercy of how good they make the AI. Because if you just like make one mistake, they can just have a guy who's like, all right, bam, 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 I win. So it's so heavily momentum based that like. It's a fun little mini game. Like I did want to bring that up too. Like where do you land on like games? I feel like Sony does this especially, and we see this in AAA space. Lots and lots of like, we're going to add interactivity to this moment just cuz. Like how important is it to you that you do the cooking mini game where you're just holding stuff over a fire or going through lighting the campfire every single time to like
I felt like I started doing the fire thing the first time and it wasn't working. I'm like, no, I'm done. It was like, it's not working. No, I'm done.
It
like,
definitely
even like writing the names on the sash, I was just like, we don't need to do this. We don't need to do this.
I think the only one I'm actually kind of okay with is the Sumie paintings, where it's like, okay, I'm seeing how I make the art, even though it's very silly sometimes, where it's like, I'm going to do a single stroke, and Atsu instead draws a very detailed person. Like, how did you do that in one quick swipe like that? No, I agree, though. I always feel like it's a little self-indulgent. Like, I just have to, like, it's neat the first time, then I'm like, what is actually this really adding to, like, it's the same thing as, like, the I forget what, like, there's a running joke about this, but like the AAA exposition moment where it's like, I'm just gonna walk around picking objects up and Atsu's gonna give me exposition out loud, whispering to herself for some reason. You know, like, yes, this thing that reminds me of how this happened with this guy back here. And it's like, is there any other way we could deliver this? Like,
Yeah. No, I did not care for it at all. It's about, like, dude, like, even when you're playing the Samisen, you're learning the new songs, right? And you have to find the sweet spot. I'm like, stop! I don't want to do this, dude. But here's the thing: I respect them for continuing to use that tech.
right.
I respect them for it, but I do not like any of it. I do not like any of it. But yeah, so I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that was one of the things I was thinking about after the memory stuff. I was like, I want to talk about how stupid this shit is.
Yeah. And to be fair, they do give you the option to skip on some of these. Like, I know, like, if you, like, wait 5 seconds or whatever, you can just, like, press and hold X, but it's still just, like, if it's skippable, then why do we even have this? Like, I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Yeah, you're at the house, and there's certain memories, like, you learn about, like, how your brother wants to become a samurai, and he's, like, been stashing away, like, money so that he can buy armor when he's ready. There's, you learn how to fight during one of the memories. Like, you learn about your dad's background and, like, kind of why he's like, his history with like Lord Saito, like, a lot of cool stuff. But and as the story progresses, you'll go back and there'll be, like, other memories you can do. So that was cool. One of the things that I was kind of surprised by as well, that I think is a negative compared to Tsushima in this game, is the presentation, in the sense of, like, especially when you're doing the duels, right? So, like, in the duels, you have, like, that opening cinematic, which is cool, like, but there's no, like, names for the duels anymore, where, like, when you finish a duel and then, like, the kanji comes up and it's just like duel of, like, I miss that shit. That shit was hardcore.
Yeah.
I really like that. Oh, one thing I want to mention. So I've been playing this game in Kurosawa mode, because that's how I want to play it. And I have the Mike mode up as well. So more blood, more mud, all that
more
stuff.
More mud, tighter camera.
I know some people, like, give them shit for the whole Kurosawa mode. I think it's really cool. Like, I can understand naming it Kurosawa mode's a little weird, but, like,
that's
love
really
it.
The main crux of it is just like, you made a black and white. Like,
I really love it. I really love it. And it adds to the experience for me. It really does. But boy, there are certain times where, like, I can't see shit. Like, I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm just like, where is this entrance? Like, where is this? This is, like, the wind is telling me to go here, and it's like, I can't see it. Which I don't remember really being an issue in the first game. In the first game, and in general, I feel like that this game just isn't as polished as Tsushima was when it came out. Like, I've run into, like, several bugs, like, several weird. Yeah, several weird instances where, like, one time I was playing the coin flick game, the coins fell onto the table and I couldn't see them.
Yeah, I had a bounty come back to life. I literally cut the dude's head off. Like, I did the slaughter assassination on him because I got lucky with, like, how to, like, go to him. So I literally decapitate this guy, get the, like, bounty killed. I fast travel somewhere else. He's alive again, and, like, it's just saying, like, oh, you didn't complete that bounty. I'm like, but I very clearly killed that guy. Like,
that
and
dude
it actually
was beheaded.
Yeah, and it actually did lead to the one crash I had in the game, because I went back to kill him, and I forget what happened. I did something stupid, and I ended up dying, and it went to, like, reload, and it just, like, infinite looped, and it hit the point where I just had to, like, fully shut down my PS5 because it just didn't, like,
wow.
Yeah, it like hard broke the game. But yes, I can attest that I certainly am having a couple other weird bug moments. Not a ton, and that was the only one that, like, actually, like, interrupted gameplay. But I agree. Like I've absolutely had a few like kind of weird things that I don't recall having issues with in Tsushima.
Yeah. There was another thing to, and here's the thing. Like, I understand they want to keep the immersion. Personally, I feel like when it comes to the Kurosawa mode, when you're having like colored visual cues, bring the color in during those moments. I'm sorry. Like like how when you have to specifically dodge an attack and
Yeah.
it's red. Show me the red. I,
Yeah,
it's not
that seems
it's
like a
not going to
major
ruin.
oversight. That feels
Yeah,
weird.
it's not going to ruin anything for me.
Yeah.
I need to see because there's more like visual cues in this game because like you can be disarmed, which
Yeah.
I think is really cool, by the way, like very cool thing. But if you are not prepared for them to like the visual cues look different in general, like regardless of color, but like you also have to be really quick on your feet normally with those kind of attacks. And if I just saw yellow, it'd be so much easier.
Yeah.
It'd just be so much easier to immediately be like, oh, gotta hold
No.
triangle
Yeah,
and be prepared to stop this.
Having gameplay mechanics tied into that is super bizarre. Because there's even so you haven't gotten this ability yet, but they do the kind of like thing where you can try to highlight targets, like highlight enemies to like know where they are. And one of the upgrades for that is it changes their highlight from white to red, which implies to me that that doesn't happen in Kurosawa mode, meaning that upgrade
No.
does nothing. It probably
No.
changes the hue, like it's like a different shade of white because of how it's handling the grayscaling. But like that seems like not a thought out change, or such
Yeah.
a dedication to the bit that like, yeah, I don't know. That I agree. That's weird.
But yeah, overall, like it's tough for me to say which one I like more so far. Again, I think that Tsushima just had a more of a vision on what the type of game and story it wanted to tell versus Yotei. But like the quality of life improvements of Yotei, the new side content is more interesting to me. Like I would rather like paint a painting than do a haiku.
Right. Which work very good at haikus, anyways.
Yeah, I'm glad that they brought back like the bamboo strike is still the best part of these games.
Oh,
Like,
I love Bamboo Strike. Yeah.
So good. So
Do you
good.
like the new extra step that it sometimes has? The surprise bonus?
Yeah. The flying, and you just got to cut it in the air.
Yeah.
But also one of the things that was cool is that when you have to learn the dual blade katanas, right? You have to do in the story, you have to
all
do
left.
the bamboo strike, and it's because you have to learn your left hand, and the bamboo strike is specifically harder because you have to learn.
Well, and you're only using the left
Atsu's
side of the controller.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
That's why. That's also why it's harder, because it's like, hey, you have to do like L3 clicks and stuff, and it's like, why? That's so much
I
harder to
definitely
do
used
with like a
both
mix.
hands for that. I definitely used both hands. I did not try
yeah.
to one hand that. But yeah, very cool. Implementation there. So
Yeah. I will say on the subject of the modes, I have turned off and on Watanabe mode because I was
Okay.
curious about it. And I kind of feel about it the way I thought I would, in that the tracks themselves, cool. I think really nice lo-fi tracks. They even like redo, I think, the combat a little bit to like kind of match the vibe more. And like good tracks. I don't think the actual timing and implementation of it is particularly great. It even seems kind of oddly random sometimes, where I'm just like, okay, it's quiet right now. Oh, here's the track coming in suddenly. I don't know what I did different or what was happening in free roam that caused it to be like, now is the time for the track to turn on, but like, okay. Yeah, cool lo-fi tracks. I think they've actually posted them on some music streaming services, so like, I'm gonna check them out, listen to them that way, but I feel like the implementation and actual gameplay is kind of like just, yeah, sometimes I hear lo-fi and like, it's cool, but yeah, that's been my vibe on it.
not surprising. Not surprising the least on that. I have played a few hours, like 2, maybe 3 hours of Digimon Time Stranger. Thank you again to Bandai for sending a code for me to check it out. And I'm not a Digimon guy. Talked about it on the pod before. This game's pretty good. I'm digging this game a lot. The concept is interesting. You're working for like this like special bureau where you're trying to deal with like any sort of like anomalies that happen, and you're weaponized with Digimon, like your literal digi device or whatever is a gun. That's like that you use to summon is pretty cool. The character design is cool. And it's it's turn based. The systems are pretty straightforward. You have like the timeline on the right side. You have like different elemental abilities for your Digimon. Once they get to certain levels, you just go on your Digivice and then you can like Digivolve them into like the next thing. And there are like different ways that they can Digivolve. So I think like once you get to a certain point, you can like revert them back to then like go down another path if that interests you. Um, the dungeons themselves are pretty basic, but it does kind of give me like a lunar vibe where combat outside of boss battles really isn't super engaging, but it has a really good auto battle feature. So that's kind of how I was like running the game, where I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do a preemptive strike with my like digi attack. The battle system will be on auto, and they'll just go and they'll kill the guy, and I'll go to the next thing until I get to a boss fight where I really need to engage directly. And like when it comes to the turn-based combat itself, you have your skills, you have your like normal attack, and then they have this thing called I believe it's called cross arts. And really all it does, it seems like, is it just ups, at least as of right now, it just like ups the strength of your Digimon for a certain amount of time. Because you have like a currency, which they don't have like a bar for it, which I wish they did. But it just shows like, oh, your CP goes up this many points, and then like eventually it'll just pop up like, oh, you can activate your cross arts. I wish that would just like read a bit better when you're in combat, to have a better idea of like where you're at with that to be able to use your next one, especially when you have the timeline. You can't really manipulate it in a major way outside of just defeating a Digimon. But one of the things that's cool is that if you use an item, you don't lose your turn. You can like use an item and then still act. But yeah, combat is so far is like pretty straightforward and simple, but like it does the job, and the story so far is interesting. There's definitely like some time travel shenanigans that are happening, and it really feels like, hey, let's make a JRPG that just happens to have Digimon. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're prioritizing this as a Digimon game,
Right.
which I think is the right way to go about it. At least for me.
Certainly for extending your audience, right?
Yeah.
There might be some like, I'm not a Digimon head, so I don't know if there are any kind of choices or sacrifices where it's like, oh, it's weird they did this way, or like I wish they did this to like whatever, better represent the core of the franchise. But if it's something where it feels more accessible to someone that is not already into Digimon, especially for how much of like a legacy IP it is at this point, like I think it's a pretty old established, like the fan base it has is the fan base it has. And I mean, by all accounts, this one is selling very well for the franchise. Like
It's passing expectations.
Yeah, so that's cool. I do want to check that one out. October, as we've kind of just said, is just such a stuffed month. Like, I'm working through Yotei right now. I still need to go back and finish Silent Hill F. There's more stuff coming out very soon. Mina got delayed, so that adds a little time to this month. But like, it's busy. There's a lot of games.
Yeah, the last thing I'll mention is that while I'm in a similar boat, like I am not trying to like beat this game anytime soon. I think this is a very like great kind of wind down JRPG. Like if you're kind of winding down for the day, you're like getting ready for bed, you're getting close to ready for bed, and you want to like knock out like half an hour, an hour. This is a great game for that, because the combat is just so like automated. You don't need to really like worry about that. Like I actually really want to play this as like a Portal game, where I just like am laying down in bed and I just have my Portal next to me, and I can just like be like, all right, I'm gonna play this for like half an hour to an hour, and then knock out, and then slowly but surely I will like finish the game. One of the other things I didn't mention, and I don't know exactly how it goes into play. I'm expecting it to go into like how you digivolve your Digimon, once there's like those kind of extended branches. But there are like personality type stats of sorts where in between fights you can talk to one of your Digimons if there's a chat bubble, and they'll basically like be undergoing some sort of problem, and then you have the option of like different chat boxes as to like, oh, this.
Yeah, you can kind of push
And
them towards a certain
yeah,
viewpoint. Yeah.
it's fine. Like it happens really frequently in a way that's kind of annoying.
Like too
But
often.
yeah, it happens too often, and they reoccur. The same scenarios reoccur very quickly. Where I'm just like, okay, I don't really want to do this anymore. Like
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to do it again moving forward, unless it really matters at a certain point.
I was gonna
But
say, yeah. Do the personalities do things like impact stats or anything? Like if they have a certain trait, does it like up damage?
I'm not
or,
entirely
like-
sure yet.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure yet, but it's probably something to do with stats or like the Digivolve branch of
Yeah.
sorts. But it actually, and this is something that has been talked about a lot recently, and the game's not out yet, so we'll see, I guess. But immediately, because the game starts in Tokyo, you're actually right next to the real life Kamurocho.
Kabukicho.
Yeah, Kabukicho. You're right there, like in the beginning of the game, and that it is a very much a lived-in Tokyo that you're just like existing in, and there's been a lot of comparisons of like how Pokemon ZA is taking place in this big city, and there's like no NPCs. You know what I mean? And Digimon is like really much doing the opposite, where like a lot of NPCs, a lot of like different talking points that are happening, like some that are just completely throwaway, but like it like makes the world feel lived in a way that doesn't happen in many JRPGs like that. So kudos to them for that. But yeah, with the personality stuff, it's whatever. And there's also like instances where like you can choose one response that changes the stats, and then there'll be other choice responses that don't do anything. And it's just like, why would these be options? Why would these be options if they're supposed to change if I want to change my personality stats?
Right.
It's odd, but I gotta like play more to see how
That all fits in.
that all fits in. But yeah, so that's everything.
I do have one other thing I want to talk about real quick, because it's not a
Okay.
game I played. I meant to bring this up at the opening, and I just totally forgot.
Okay.
But I went to the Seventh Heaven experience.
Yeah,
for Final
dude.
Fantasy VII. Yeah. So, for those that don't know, Seventh Heaven Experience is like a special collaboration that Square Enix is doing right now with this cafe in, I think it's technically part of like Koreatown in LA, called Boba Bear. And they've redone the whole interior to, obviously there are structural limitations, but they're trying to recreate like the Seventh Heaven bar vibe from FF7. And I was actually very surprised how much like replica stuff they had. Like they have the jukebox that looks like the jukebox, in the bar in the game. They have the pinball machine, which is used for like, the secret entrance, which it doesn't do that at this one, but still they have the pinball machine with like the same branding on it. Upstairs instead of downstairs, but upstairs they do a golden saucer theme, but they also have the dartboard there from the bar in that mix.
That's so cool.
Yeah, no, that was super awesome. They actually had a crane machine set up in the golden saucer area where instead of like
that.
actual prizes, they're just a bunch of materia orbs, and then you would take the orb downstairs to like the counter and just be like, oh hey, I got like a red one, like what's the price for that kind of thing. And Christine won the hardest one to get was
13.
purple. Yeah, it was purple for a plushie, and I guess it was actually supposed to be specifically a Yuffie plushie, but they were like, oh, we don't have those. So your choice of these three other plushies, which were Red 13, a Moogle, and Kate Sith, I think? No, sorry, it was Kate Sith and a Chocobo. So I went with Red 13 because I gotta have my boy. But yeah, she won that on her first frickin' try. I did
yeah.
not need to buy more than one token. they had drinks that were all like Final Fantasy. They were named after like Final Fantasy stuff, and they actually had two different styles. One was in like a Sephiroth tumbler, which looked fine. I'm not like a huge Sephiroth fan, and I'm not really into tumblers anyways, like that style of drink, like cup for collecting. But the other one was a materia glass, where it's like it has a little stand, and then it's just a materia orb with a little hole at the top to put your drink in. Not at all like an actual functional glass to use, but I got to keep it, so that's cool.
Oh yeah,
It says,
great
like,
display
557 on
piece.
it. Oh yeah, great display piece. But they're also all themed after like different like materia colors and like flavors. So like I got the one that was Fyra, but it was a red orb because like come on, it's called Fyra, even though it would be green for being the spell. But it was like watermelon and tahini, which was pretty good. It was a little silly because I feel like usually with tahini drinks you want that on the rim, and you can't really do that with this glass. So they just kind of poured it directly in and stirred. But yeah, it was tasty. There was a churro that was the Masamune churro, so it comes with like the carrier is a little handle like Sephiroth's sword, and then you just have this churro coming out of it. And then for the day I went, part of what was going on, this was to be clear, this was like I was invited by Square Enix to check this out. I bought all my drinks and food and stuff, but I was part of like a special hour that was just media and creators. And the reason why we went this particular day, because it's already been open for a little bit, but Hamaguchi was visiting for that particular day. He was there for, I think he was doing meet and greet with fans as well afterwards. It wasn't like he was just there for like our portion of it. He was just hanging out throughout the day. But they were celebrating the fact that, you know, Remake Integrate is coming to Switch 2 soon. I think the event itself is technically meant for Ever Crisis, but Hamaguchi's appearance was for Remake Integrate because, you know, he was co-director of that. So that was really cool. He was there. We did like a whole toast to the game, photo ops, that kind of thing. Super chill guy. It was actually really funny. Like, you know, I had done my initial photo op with him, which was kind of like, you know, he was first making rounds, and like that's obviously what a lot of people were going to do. But then he just kind of kept hanging out, and there was a part where upstairs in the Golden Saucer setup, they have this sofa with a backdrop that's kind of meant to recreate the what are they called? Not a carousel, the giant wheel. It's the scene with
A Ferris wheel?
Ferris wheel, yeah. Just totally left my brain.
The giant wheel? A Ferris wheel?
Yeah. So but it's recreating the Ferris wheel scene, right, from Gold Saucer. So like Christina, like, oh, like let's get like, you know, we should get a photo together, like sitting on this couch. And we sit down on the couch to take a photo, and then Hamaguchi just like plops down right next to me, like with intention. It wasn't like he just happened to also want to go sit on the couch. Like he saw us sitting down, so he just came down, sat down. He's like, "Can I be in the photo too?" And we're like, sure, I'm not gonna say no to Hamaguchi wanting to like just join in for like this random couch shot. And we still got a photo with just us afterwards, but it was just very funny how like he was just kind of into like wanting to be in photos with everyone, and like it felt very much like, you know, sometimes when you meet people at stuff, and there's nothing wrong with this because people are wired the way they're wired, but sometimes, you know, it's like, hey, I'm here for a press thing, I'm gonna do my photos, you know, I'm gonna be cordial and nice to everyone, but also I'm not a sociable person, you know, like that happens, and there's nothing wrong with it. He was totally into just like being there and hanging out, like wanting to interact with people, like he very personable, which is always cool.
How was his English? Was he like able to hold a conversation, or
No, not really. He had an assistant with him that was able to do.
okay?
Like,
I didn't know
translations.
like if he was going like person to person. Like, did he just have someone following around with him?
Yeah, no, he had
or-
someone following him, and he could do like very basic interactions. Obviously, like
Sure,
he
sure.
you know, context clues are there, and like you can work your way
Yeah,
through language
yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, if anyone had anything like more complex to say or like a question to ask, there was someone with him that was handling that kind of communication.
Okay, cool. Dope. Yeah, we're gonna go in a couple of weeks. When I'm down in LA for the weekend, I'm like, I already told my buddy George, who I'm staying with, I was like, hey, can we go to this? I would like to go to this while I'm here. And he's like, yeah, sure. So apparently there's like a Silent Hill F thing that's happening somewhere too in the area.
They're doing that I think they're doing that in Little Tokyo.
Okay.
I don't remember
that
like
sounds
which
right.
specific part. I think it might have been like the mall area of that, which they do a lot of collaborations. I mean, that's where the Square Enix pop-up shop was, and a lot of pop-up shops have set up in that area.
Yep.
But yeah, it's in Little Tokyo. I forgot that was a thing happening, and I also wanted to check that out. So thank you for reminding me. I got to look up when that's happening.
Yeah, he went to that yesterday. He like took a picture of like the menu or something and sent it to me. But yeah, very cool. Now we're getting into topic of the show for this week. I got this idea from Twitter where it was Ryan McCaffrey at Xbox from IGN, who hosts Podcast Unlocked, talking about like a list of games that he would put on an Xbox like console if it was like an SNES mini type deal.
Yeah,
like
if you were buying a preloaded, like this is the thing that lets you play the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Kevin are going to make a preloaded JRPG console of 25 games. And we're going to figure this out together. We didn't like have a preset list, and we're going to figure this out from the ground up, baby.
Yep. Now, because we said 25, right?
25.
25 is an odd number, and there are two of us. So I was thinking, technically this is a point for me, but I also think that this is just kind of a given. Do we just want to have Chrono Trigger as a free space? Like, it's just like, look, that's
here's
on there.
Here's the thing, like, just because we're making the list doesn't mean we're each getting 12 slots. There's got to be arguments.
Okay.
There's got to be discussions here.
That's fair.
And I want to put this into perspective. We are not considering games based off of availability.
Sure.
We're just going based off of like, hey, this game should be on this console type deal.
Yeah. It's kind of like we're almost kind of just picking like a Canon 25. Not necessarily best, but it's like, hey, like if we were like assembling, like these are the JRPGs, play them.
Yeah, exactly.
Put them on this little machine.
That being said, let's just get it out of the way. Let's get Chrono Trigger on the list. Let's go through the obvious ones.
Sure.
So Chrono Trigger. Now, already might be controversial to you, but Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, no, I kind of I feel like, look, I'm very big into specifically like what I think of as the golden era, which is SNES to PS1, and like, even though FF7, there are other ones that I like more. That's like the one to pick, right?
Because like I'm just like, I was thinking like you might argue, well, what about Remake? What about Rebirth? Like that type of thing.
No, I would actually push. To be honest, I feel like I'm going to be leaning towards a lot of older games on this list for like a machine like that. Like, there's definitely some new games I think we would want in there too. But I'm definitely leaning older on a lot.
And another thing I want to put into perspective is that we don't need to limit it. We're not limiting it to like one game per franchise.
Sorry, Gardner showed up, and I was like, oh, you're about to hear a lawnmower. I need to close my window.
So with that being said, do we put another Final Fantasy on the list?
That's, trust me, man, I knew this was going to be an issue, right? Because, like, if this was, like, just me putting together a list, there's a non-0% chance that I would just be like 4 through 10 all on there, baby, let's go.
No.
Yeah, I know, no. And that's not what we're gonna do here. I realize that. That's why this is collaborative. I think we can multiple dip, but we have to be discerning. Like, I think, look, man, it's gonna be very hard for me to not push for 9, and I'm keeping 9 in my back pocket. Like, I want to see where we're at in like the late 10s, early 20s, and then maybe I might bust it out. But I think like a SNES entry, right? Whether that's 4 or 6 or 5, like just like one of those, probably 6.
Yeah, I'm totally down with I'm totally down with putting Final Fantasy VI on the list.
Yeah.
So we're cool with that, and then because there's also there's 10, there's 9. So we'll get to that down the line.
Yeah.
Let's are there any other like obvious like inclusions to you that like has to be on here? Because my immediate thought is there's got to be 1, maybe 2 Dragon Quest games, and it's really just again kind of dependent on us. So like, because like for me, I think Dragon Quest 3 should be on the list.
Which version of Dragon Quest 3?
HD2D remake.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I certainly like, I think if we're only having one Dragon Quest game, I would definitely have a bit of a debate between that and, like, 8. I know 11 is, like, the really big one for a lot of folks and, like, helped expose, but, like, 8 to me, I think is actually, like, I don't know. I think 8's just a very good, like, condensed Dragon Quest experience. But
we can have both. We can like
yeah, let's. But I would say I agree with you in like 3 HD 2D. We're just putting that on there right away. Like that's just like it's a classic. It's yeah. I agree with you. Here's another one where I feel like we have to pick one, but I think it's like we have to weigh our personal favorites versus what might need to go on there. Persona, which I think for you and I it comes down like to 3 Reload or 5, right? Like.
No.
Oh, are you gonna push for 4? Are you gonna push for 4?
Yeah, I'm gonna push for 4.
Okay.
I think 4 is the best one. Like, but here's the thing. I was gonna say is like, I feel like we're gonna get shot at if we don't include, like, because here's the thing. I want us to include, because I knew that I knew that if we were gonna do Persona, we were gonna have to get at least 2 on there.
Oh, really?
Like at least two Persona games.
Uh-huh.
Because if I said 4, you'd be like, well, if you're putting 4 on there, we need 3, and I would be okay with that. But like we wouldn't have 5, and I think a lot of people would be really upset about that.
It's almost like do we mutually agree on the one that we understand is big for the reasons it is, or do we put the 2 that we think are better? Okay, we'll put a pin in that for now. We'll revisit Persona.
Let's put a pin on that.
That's a debate. So okay, what are some other obvious ones that we need to throw in the mix?
Well, let's get one out of the way that I think that you will fight for, and I'm okay with putting on there just because I know of its historics. Golden Sun.
Yeah, Golden Sun's tough.
Really?
Well, yeah. Because here's the thing. Golden Sun is like a complete experience across 2 games. And I was going to ask you this about Trails. Like, would you be fine with just the first Trails and not having, like, second chapter on there?
It has to be both. Nope.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So this is taking up 2 slots, and that's rough. Like that, I feel it's a double slaughter. Because I feel like if you just put Golden Sun...
But is it so good that it's worth the 2 slots?
And that's the thing, right? I would...
Because we can make deals here.
Yeah,
like,
we can make deals.
If it's like...
Okay.
If it's like Golden Sun 1 and 2 have to be on the list for Trails 1 and 2 to be on the list, absolutely. Okay, I'll take that deal.
Real quick, let's do games that are in duologies that like we'll save them for later because that'll eat up space really quick. So Trails in the Sky is going to take up 2 slots. Not 3, right? Like 3rd chapter is different enough that we can. That's okay to not be a part of it. Okay. Golden Sun, that's another where you just have to have both. In my mind. Like, it feels weird to have one game and then it just ends on a cliffhanger. It's like, all right, go hunt down the second one somewhere. Now, the real thing that I'm going to start pushing is tactical and strategy RPGs. That I think
I'm down with putting tactics on the list if you want tactics on the list.
Funny, actually. Tactics, I think, yes. And even, I would even argue maybe even Tactics Ogre and stuff off Fantasy Tactics, but like I think for a canon, FF Tactics is the one most people know. But then also Fire Emblem, where
see that's tough because that just kind of depends on what you're thinking. Because like for me, it's Awakening. It like
I will tell you right now, I agree. Awakening is not my personal number 1, but it's always the one I go back to where I'm like, look, if you just want to play like a Fire Emblem game, if you just need like the cross-section midpoint of old and new and doing a lot of things well, and maybe having some hang-ups of older ones, like Awakening is the one. That is
okay.
Yeah, so I agree with that. So we'll put Fire Emblem Awakening on there. I think that's a safe bet. Let's go ahead and say Final Fantasy Tactics. Okay. If we're seeing too much Final Fantasy, maybe we'll switch that up for Ogre Battle or Tactics Ogre, but like I think it makes sense.
I mean, like I know that people like Ogre Battle, but like or Tactics Ogre. When I think Tactics, like during that era, it's Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh,
like,
no, certainly. Like that's the one that
and it's not just because of namesake. Literally, just because like they're like, oh yeah, this is like one of, if not the best tactics game ever made.
Yeah, I would argue it gets a boost because of the namesake. Like, more people try it.
I'm sure it does, but like that's not the reason like...
Yeah. I actually... This gets into a whole cover. I think raw gameplay-wise, like we were saying in my review, like I think Final Fantasy Tactics is tons of fun because of like broken character builds. I think if you actually want like a challenging, interesting strategy game, I think like Tactics Ogre blows it out of the water in that respect. But Final Fantasy Tactics writing is better. So, anyways, yeah, we'll go with FF Tactics. We're at 6 so far that we've locked in. We got 19 more to go. But we have a lot of maybes. We have a lot of maybes. What did I not write down that you wrote down?
Did you put Dragon Quest 8?
Oh, you put both Dragon Quest. Okay, I just put 3 HD2D
I put both Dragon
okay.
Quest. I feel like similarly to Final Fantasy, there needs to be like an old school and a new school.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
For Dragon Quest. Oh, let's get this out of the way. Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
Let's get out of the way.
Now, is that one you're okay with being by itself, or are you going to push for 1 in there too?
No. I'm cool with just 2. Honestly, like if I'm getting really deep in the weeds of the sense of like, oh, this is a console and like you're not going to be offered like the other experiences, like I think 2 does a good enough job where you can understand what's happening as you're going along.
You understand just as much as someone who played the first one, in that it is confusing no matter what.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But yeah, so Kingdom Hearts 2 is on the list. Xenogears?
I would definitely push for Xenogears, yeah. I like the question that comes to that one, right, is like Xenogears versus all the later Xeno. Like, I don't think Xenosaga, any of those, that's a whole thing. They're so interconnected.
Well, here's the thing. Between the two of us, it's like Xenogears or Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's where we're at. And I know that you're not gonna be like on board with Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not. I'm not voting that, bro. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing here. Like, if you brought up like 3, maybe, I don't know, I might be more okay with that. But
no, 3 is great. 3 has some incredible moments. But no, I'm sorry. Okay, so we'll put a pin on Xenogears then.
I put it down.
Oh, you put it down. Okay, cool. Well, cool. Xenogears.
No, you said that down. I picked it right up. I was like, yeah, you're right. We should put that on there.
Correct. Trying to think about some. Wild Arms?
Wild Arms gets iffy for me because there's like a bunch of like JRPGs that I really like that were also slightly more niche titles, and I don't know how many of those are going to break through the noise, right? Because it's like Wild Arms, like the 2 good Breath of Fires, well, the 2 better Breath of Fires. A lot of like mana games. Like, there's a whole lot of ones where I'm like, I would consider putting these in here. I don't know if I would call those like easy picks. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I think we're at the point now where like, I mean, I'm not saying we're like at the point now where we don't have any more easy picks. Like,
sure, there's
some things that can be considered, right? Like Earthbound. Like, I'm not a huge Earthbound guy like that. Like, I've played Earthbound and I get it. I get why like it has like that cult following.
Yeah. But
I'm not like, doesn't lift my skirt up in a real way.
Sure. I do think that would actually be a very good addition, though, because of, like, well, one, variety. I think there's not quite, like, other than Undertale, which kind of goes in its own directions as well, like, I don't feel like there's a great Earthbound. Like, it's not a genre that became, like, common, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So Earthbound over Mother 3.
I would say so. Like, here's the thing, right? I need to go and play all these, and I don't know enough. like here's the other thing too is like we never got an official translation of Mother 3, which that's a whole thing with Nintendo. Yeah, I feel like we just stick with Earthbound. I know there's arguments that like Mother 3 is the better one. I'm just going off of right now of like
vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, vibe. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely a lot of JRPGs that I'm like, yeah, like this should be on it because vibes. I haven't played it, but vibes, yeah.
Like enough people like it's like if you never played Chrono Trigger, you're not going to question too much. Like, oh, like why would we put that on the list? It's like, are you kidding me?
How much time do you have?
I had a good one in my head that left. What was it? Oh, do we want to get a Pokemon game in the mix?
Yes, Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver.
I was gonna say for simplicity, do we do like Crystal? But yeah, like do we count that as one game?
See, here's the thing.
Version difference, but it's one game.
I did not think you would let Crystal fly, and I'm content with Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Right, but like, are we counting that as 2 games or 1? Because if on the system launch, do you pick the 1 game and then what does it become? We're gonna
I'm counting it as 1 game. I'm counting it as 1 game.
We're making up Mind Crystal. That's that's what this is.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah. We're making that 1 game.
You pick your version of
and
the start.
honestly, depending on how this goes, we might put a second on there. Who am I to
say no? As much as I love them, I don't know if I would put a Yakuza on here. Like, if I did, it would be Like a Dragon.
Really?
Like, it's
Like
tough.
a Dragon?
It's like, what? Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of what the total package vibe is of this, like, thing. You know what I mean? If I were to pick a Yakuza, it'd be Like a Dragon, right? Because that is the most, like, traditional JRPG.
No, 100%.
It works as its own complete story, really. Like, you don't really need any other games to, like, actually appreciate it. You could just do that on its own. It's fine. There's benefits to playing the other ones, but you could do it on its own. Okay, fine, we'll add it. You've convinced me.
Twist my arm.
Your incredulousness to my reply has convinced me.
I think we should put the Legend of Dragon on here.
Really?
I've been enjoying it enough where, like, I think it stands out as its own thing, which doesn't mean it's automatically a good thing per se, but like I really have been enjoying that game, and I think that it, for a game that was trying to be like, hey, let's make our own Final Fantasy VII, I think it does a good job to like differentiate itself enough to be its own thing, and like I think Legend of Dragoon should be on the list.
Okay.
Because we're at the point now where we have 13 slots left.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Can we put that in like for your consideration pile? Like, or is it like
sure?
Like, then we got to narrow down later.
Sure. Now, here's something we didn't talk about yet. Mario.
All 3 of us, I say 3 because Christine texted me as we were talking, and I was like, I'm already at where you're at. Like, I feel like we got to talk about a Mario RPG of some sort. She had a specific one she wanted to shout out, and I agree, but let me hear what you want to bring up.
Well, I think there's only 4 that can truly be considered, being Thousand Year Door. Well, 5, I guess. I disagree, but Thousand Year Door, the original Paper Mario, Superstar Saga, Bowser's Inside Story, or Super Mario RPG.
Which of those was the twist your arm extra choice?
The first Paper Mario.
Yeah, this is... Now, I'm a little biased, and I think for me it comes down to 2 of those more than the others, which would be Thousand Year Door or Super Mario RPG.
And see, I really want to play, like, Super Mario RPG is like basically at the top of my backlog, like in the sense of when I really want to go back and play something that's didn't come out this year, just so I can know if I like that game more than Superstar Saga. That's
right.
real, just so I can like actually make an argument like, no, Superstar Saga is better.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I mean, Super Mario RPG is weird because it's one of those things where it's like, I think from a technical standpoint, there's a whole lot of reasons why all the ones that came out later are better, or at least all the ones that are like RPG. We're not going to get into, some of the other Paper Marios that were games.
No,
But, like, it does have a lot of, I think, energy and grace for, like, a certain charm it has. It was the first one. Like, it is the first Mario RPG of any sort.
That never does anything for me.
No, I know. Yeah, you don't have the nostalgia push for it. I get it.
No, just in general, like, if it says, like, oh, this game did it first, I'm like, I don't care. I just don't. That's not a...
I mean, it did it first and well. It's not just it did it first.
No, for sure. Yeah. No, it is still good.
Yeah.
To be clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, look, I think that
I think when the chips are down, even though I
okay,
feel like I want
let's
to
do
vote
this.
Thousand Year Door.
Let's do Thousand Year Door, and let's put the other two under for your consideration.
Okay. So Superstar
So,
Saga and
Paper Mario.
Super Mario RPG.
Okay.
One series we haven't touched on yet, and especially now that we've already like opened the door to action RPGs with Kingdom Hearts 2. Nier Automata?
No,
No.
I'm sorry.
You don't want it on there.
No, absolutely not. I don't think that game's that good. I'm sorry. I just don't.
I mean,
Like,
I don't care if you think it's good or not. I'm just saying, like, if we got to make this list and we got to go off some degree of like,
I appreciate what it does, but I just don't. Like, a game can do an incredibly cool thing, but if it isn't fun to play, I don't care about the cool thing that it does.
I mean, first off, the idea that Automata is not fun to play is entire madness to me. But like, that's a whole other conversation.
The combat is not fun in that game.
The combat is fine. It's just the fact that it constantly throws different minigames at you that is incredible. Like, that's the fun of it. The unpredictability.
Oh, the minigames, yeah, like, that's fine. But, like, the general, like, hack and slash combat in that game is not, like, for a Platinum game, like, it's surprisingly
It's because Platinum was working with the base that is how other Nier and Dragon Guard games worked up to that point. And so they made it palatable. Anyways, okay, we'll leave that one alone for now. That was a very negative reaction. I think you're wild for not wanting to put that on there. Like, I just think in terms of like, if this is like because I'm approaching this a little bit like sort of like these are like essentials, right? Like these are like, for better or for worse, you got to know. Like you got to play these and check them out. And I feel like Nier Automata's on that list. It literally revived the whole franchise and spawned like the now most collaborative crossover character in the history of games, aside from like Mario.
I just know that, like, if I was making a top 25, and I'm not saying it has to be a top 25, but I'm saying, like, if someone if someone asked me to recommend them JRPGs, I would say well over 25 JRPGs before I would mention Nier Automata. I don't know.
It's just I just feel like it's whether I guess
like I would be much more open to putting Nier Replicant on the list.
Which I'm fine with. I actually like aspects of Replicant more.
Which I don't want to do. So it's.
I just feel I'm coming from the angle of like I'm not just trying to put good games on here. I want to have like. I feel like this is nutritional.
You want this to be like a historic console of sorts.
So yeah, here are things you need to play and you need to understand and you need to know. You know.
Yeah, I still.
I'm putting
really...
it for your consideration. I won't put it on my main list, but we're gonna put it for your consideration.
Yeah, it's like that is gonna be one of the hardest things for you to convince me to to put on that list. I'm sorry. And I know that's a hot take for me. I know that's definitely a hot take for me. I know I'm in the minority. Do we want to return quickly? Because here's the thing. We have 13 slots in right now.
Yeah.
And we have 6 like games that we know we want to put on this list that we haven't yet. So should we? I think it's about time we return to that.
Do you want to just blow this list up real quick and throw a bunch of things on there?
Well, like let's just see. It's just like
sure.
So what are we doing with Persona? Are we just gonna give it the 1? Are we just gonna? Are we gonna do 2? Are we gonna do 3? Like,
oh man, we're gonna piss Chai off so much right now.
It's not that it's a bad game. It's just like, you know.
It's like I just would rather vote for those other 2. I think I'm gonna go against my best interest on this one, and I think I will actually say Persona 5 Royal.
Like, put all 3 on there?
No, I'm saying we just pick Persona 5 Royal.
No.
Look, if we're picking 2, we have to do ours then, because there's no way I'm going to relent to just Persona 4.
Yeah, no. If you're trying to make the argument just Persona 5 Royal, I'm saying I would be like, I would just put no Persona on the list, which is stupid.
Damn.
Which is stupid.
That's
No,
just
'cause
vindictive.
No, it's not vindictive. It's just like, I think it's the weakest of the three, and like I get that it's the one that got the series the most popular, but I'm sorry, like I just would rather put Persona 3 or 4 before 5. Listen, we'll return to it. We'll return to it. So, are we doing the Trails Golden Sun deal? Or do you think that that's too much?
I think let's at least, you know what? Let's lock in Trails 1 and 2. We'll lock in
Okay.
Trails 1 and 2 because I respect that. Like I like Golden Sun a lot, but I just feel like if we're narrowing ourselves down to 25, like taking up 2 slots for it, I just feel like there's other games we might want to try and fit in first.
Cool.
Here's a franchise we haven't talked about, and it's not one of my favorite franchises, but it's like a big one, and I feel like we like can take one game from it.
Okay.
Tales.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
See, that's
Symphonia
the-
is usually the easy knee-jerk answer.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I think that would probably be the one.
Yeah.
I'm not. Let's put that in.
Consideration.
Let's put that in consideration right now.
Okay.
Because there's a few one-offs that not one-offs, but specific games that I have in mind that I just thought of. One being Suikoden 2.
Yes, I agree. That should just be on there. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's a yeah.
And that is one that I will argue it's worth playing both back to back. But like, if you did Suikoden 2 by itself, I would not be mad about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you have to have one. I think playing one first just enriches it.
Second game that I haven't played. I just, I know it's iconic, and I don't know if you've played it actually. Skies of Arcadia.
Yeah, I think so going off of some things I've already said here, like I think that stands as like a unique, like there's nothing else really quite like it, and so I think that should definitely go on there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I had one. What was the one that was in my head for a moment? Do you think we need any East games in there, or are we good with just Trails? I also don't know enough about East for like which one I would push.
I
for.
really enjoy Ys. And unfortunately I'm currently on 8, which is highly considered the best one. So I don't know if my opinion will change. But as of the games I've currently played, like I don't think an Ys game needs to be on here.
Okay.
Personally.
I wanted to add on. This might be a controversial specific pick. I don't know, but I was going to say Trials of Mana. Like if I'm picking a single mana game, like I think that game does some really cool stuff for its time and is just excellent. Maybe
It's
consideration
interesting
at least.
Yeah, it's interesting just because I've always been told that Secret of Mana is the game.
Well, the problem with that is because Trials of Mana didn't come out here until like a couple years ago. So like Secret of Mana was always the established like, oh yeah, like this is a super cool game because I grew up playing it. I think Trials would have had a similar, if not bigger presence had it not like, had it actually come out here instead of getting ported like so many years later.
Let's put that on
Consideration.
But
Yeah.
I do have a game that I know you'll like to put on Live Alive.
Look, I was kind of saving that one for like if we had like a couple slots left.
It's
I'm
a
totally down
really cool, unique JRPG. Like I'm cool with it being on the list.
Hey, look, if we're given bonus points for uniqueness, it definitely qualifies very quickly.
Like it's one of those things where when I play the game, I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, this game is definitely. I get why it was so popular when it came out. It was doing some really cool stuff, had some cool ideas.
Yeah.
Did all of that hit for me personally? I wouldn't say so, but like, I still think it's just a one of a kind type game.
Yeah.
That I mean, I think it's, even if we want to put it on for your consideration, I think it's like near the top of the list, if not the top of the list.
I'm fine just slapping it on there if you want to give that push.
Okay, we'll just put it on there for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 6 slots left.
Oh, we only have 6 left. Oh, we might have to do some switch outs. I don't know. Because this might be a joke for some people that follow closely to the podcast for what I'm about to say, but I do mean this. Ni no Kuni probably needs to go on here. And again, I don't know if I would put that on a top 25 of all time, but especially because we've been going the angle of variety and interestingly different games, I think it does occupy a space that is very much its own. Even its own sequel didn't really recapture other than art style. I think the first Ni no Kuni works for this.
For those that didn't hear me, because I have a specific mic where you probably didn't hear it, I clapped for like 10 seconds straight.
It came through a little bit. Like, I think 2 claps made it through.
I was just like, wow, what an unexpected choice. What an unexpected
and
action.
I was the one who said it.
I know, from Kevin. I didn't even think about it. It didn't even come to my mind. I was like, oh shit, you're totally right. Wow. Wow.
I got a couple more. I'm gonna blitz a couple for your considerations right now because it's a lot of arguably the best game of franchise that has its fan base, but
sure.
How many of these can we fit? Star Ocean 2.
Okay.
Breath of Fire 3.
3. Yeah.
It gets close between 3 and 4, but I would lean towards 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
We mentioned Wild Arms earlier, which I think usually either 1 or 3 are the ones that people tend to push.
1 is the one that I've always heard getting pushed.
We could put Wild Arms 1, yeah, which I know we mentioned earlier, but I don't think we actually formally wrote it down anywhere. I know I'm forgetting some other franchises. I'm just trying to think of some other ones to best ofs to throw out.
I will say, despite I love the games, I wouldn't put one of the Lunar games on the list. Actually, the first one.
I think first one's worth. Yeah, I absolutely think first one's worth putting on there.
Yeah. Lunar, A Silver Star Story.
Yeah, I like 2, but we'll talk about this in our
Campfire catalog.
One thing we've already alluded to a little bit in past talks is that I think while there's a lot of things 2 does better, I do think 1 does its specific vibe better. I think it does more service to what makes Lunar interesting and unique.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fuck. I thought that 25 wouldn't be too hard, and now I'm looking at this list. I'm just like, fuck. This is
no, and this is
sucks.
all yeah. This is also why if we each had our own 25 list, it might have been faster, but it I don't know. There's some narrow downs that have to happen. I'm just trying to double check if there's any big franchises. We haven't really talked regular SMT.
I don't think SMT goes on this list. I like SMT, but
I think Nocturne holds a historical place, but I understand if you're trying to
but yeah, it's one of those things hey, do you want to play a turn-based game that's really challenging? That's the game. That's the franchise I would point to. But anything else to take away from it, I wouldn't really say.
I guess I'm just coming from, again, that I like the idea of there being a diverse list of styles of games here, and I think nothing really if anything, maybe to vary it a little bit, instead of 3, I would maybe say Strange Journey, which brings home a little bit more of the heavier dungeon crawl style of RPG.
Well, here's the thing, we're at 20.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on, we're at 20, so we have 6 slots left. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we have 20. We're at number 20. We're choosing number 20.
Oh, we're on number 20. Okay. I think you said we have 20 games. Okay.
So we have 6 slots left, and we currently have 9 games in for your consideration, and there's still the Persona discussion.
Yeah.
I don't think SMT is going to make it, dog. I just don't think it's going to make it. Because, I would put every game on this list. I would even put Nier Automata over Strange Journey. Not because I think the game is better, but I think that there's a better argument for it than Strange Journey or SMT.
Yeah, I think there's a strong argument for both of them to be on the list. I'm gonna pull my here's my back against the wall. You got to give me one of these.
Oh my
I think SMT3 and Nier Automata are both like, again, I'm not just looking for like palatable, here's all like great, best whatever. Like I want to show people like the variety of like what a JRPG can be, and 3 is a great example of just like a specific type of a style that is not present anywhere else on this list.
And you don't think Persona's good enough to cover that?
No, entirely different games. Like, they're part of the same overall franchise and they have a lot of things in common, but I'm not going to make the argument that someone who loves Nocturne 3 or like Nocturne is going to love the later Persona games. Maybe Persona 2, like that duology. And I'm not going to make the argument that someone who likes Persona 5 is going to like any SMT game, because there's a whole lot of evidence that doesn't happen.
Let me think about it while we're talking about other stuff.
Okay.
And then when we get to the last slot,
I'm going to fight for either Nocturne or Automata. Like, one of those two needs to go on this list, because if I'm not getting both...
Once we get to 25, I'll make my decision. But I just need to think about it, because both those decisions I don't like.
I would certainly put either of them over Legend Dragoon, if I'm being honest. Like, which I know is in our consideration list.
Yeah, I would disagree with you. I don't know what else to say. And again, I understand like why people like Nier Automata. I do, but I don't know. What else is there? I mean, there are like some more like still really like good JRPGs, but I just like don't think are gonna really be in this conversation, at least until like I play it and I can like think for like have an actual opinion on it. Like Arc the Lad, I've heard really good things about.
Yeah, I think I've not played all the Arc the Lads, but of the ones I've played, I would be fine it not making the cut.
Okay.
Just if we're only getting down to 25, and if we were doing some kind of specific angle, if we're leaning into like strategy or something, like sure, but I think we already have a couple like tactic strategy representatives that I would certainly put in before I put in Arc the Lad.
Yeah, and then there's like Vagrant Story.
Oh yeah, that's definitely, if you want to talk about unique, like that would be a cool one. That's a tough one. Yeah.
You like if you've played it, you'd be able to speak on it better than me. Actually, one that I think should 100% be on this list: Valkyrie Profile.
Yeah, I don't have a counter argument for that. I'm like, yeah, cool. Yeah. Especially if we're again, I'm really trying to have diversity here, and that is different. It is a 2D platformer for exploration, and then the combat system is not like anything else on this list. So Yep. Don't have to twist my arm on that one.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it took me that long.
I'm surprised I'm not the one who brought that up.
Yeah.
I wish
I haven't
knew
even
more...
played that game. I just know that game rips.
Yeah, it does. I wish I knew more about like Phantasy Star. It's like a big blank for me, and I know that's like
I have them on Steam because I do want to eventually play them.
Yeah.
I've heard Phantasy Star 4 is the big one, but
and then like Saga's another one where like.
Saga Frontier 2 is the big one. Saga Frontier 2 and that's Saga Frontier 2 and Saga, like Romancing Saga 2 are like the two big ones.
Really? I always hear way more for either Saga Frontier or what is it? Because like I know like Romancing Saga 2 got the remake and that's gotten a lot of good like reception.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like from like the Saga fans, like I feel like Frontier's the palatable, like kind of more like you're just want to try it out. And then the big one I hear a lot of praise for is Scarlet something. Scarlet
Grace.
Scarlet Grace. Yeah, that's the one that's like if you're a Saga fan, like that's the one.
I've heard if you're a Saga fan, you like basically all the Saga games to a certain extent. But like Romance Saga 2, like and like I don't know, like Frontier 2 people like when that got announced, people were like, this is the Saga game to play. Like that's that type of deal.
I don't think I've ever seen that sentiment for Frontier 2 specifically. Yeah.
Interesting. I might be off base then, or like my friends might be off base. But
yeah, it might be Circles, yeah.
Yeah, so the Saga games are cool. I played the remake earlier this year, or like last year when it came out, and like, it's a cool ideas that I don't particularly think come fully together in a way that I hoped it would, but still like cool series. There was a game that I was thinking of that I completely forgot about. Like Dark Cloud,
Definitely different. Dark
like
Cloud could be
Shadow
interesting.
Hearts.
Shadow Hearts.
Is a JRPG,
Yeah, no,
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Shadow Hearts is a JRPG. I love Shadow Hearts. And if we were doing our own lists, it probably would make its way into mine. I don't. With how much is already on here, I don't know if I would put. I would push more for I think Nocturne and Automata than I would for Shadow Hearts. As much as I love it.
Okay. Cool. 5 slots left. Let's revisit our for your consideration.
Yeah.
I think we can confidently put Super Mario RPG and Tales of Symphonia. I think those are two that like.
So I agree with Tales of Symphonia. I actually, seeing how dense everything is, I'm fine like leaving Thousand Year Door as the only Mario RPG rep.
Really?
I just think we have so much going on this list already, and like there's so much more we want to fit.
Yeah.
I feel like losing another slot to Mario. Like it's a great game, and I'm down for the conversation of like that versus Thousand Year Door, but I don't think I would put both on this list, especially with how much is going on. But I do agree with Tales. I think Tales, Symphonia makes sense.
Okay, it's on the list. Let me think here. So no Super Mario RPG. So we're cutting Super Mario RPG and Superstar Saga from your consideration.
And we have 4 slots left now.
We have 4 slots left. Persona. We gotta talk about Persona. At this point.
Yeah, we do have to talk about Persona. I also feel like the Golden Sun duology is out at this point. Because that's 2 slots, and this is pretty dense.
It's out. It is out at this point.
Yeah.
Unless we make some switches, we can still do it. But I think that right now we got a solid list.
Yeah. Like I think if I were to cut anything from the current list, as much as it would pain me, it's like maybe Live Alive. Like I love Live Alive and it's a weird unique thing, but it is also a weird unique thing.
I just think we should put Persona 3 Reload and Persona 4 Golden on the list. I'm just gonna say it. Like I'm at the point now where like, let's just do it.
You know what?
You're like, I'm not.
You know what? Here's what I'll do. And this is madness. But for the sake of variety, I'm fine with just putting Persona 4 Golden, and then you give me one of my frickin' like back against the wall picks that you're being stubborn about.
I'm not giving you SMT for Persona though. I'm not. I'll give you Nier Automata.
I think you're crazy, but sure, fine. Nier Automata.
Listen, no. Here's the thing. I know your justification for SMT. I get why you're making the argument. I just think that there are other games I would rather have on this console.
I just want to make sure we have a couple like I want a couple like beloved friction games. You know what I mean? Like we need to have some games in here that aren't just like I need the games that won their audiences and are not just necessarily like easy 11 picks. You know what I mean?
Nier Automata was that.
That is not what Nier Automata is. Drakengard
Yes,
is
it
maybe
was.
that, but
No.
Nier Automata blew up so hard.
No,
what are you talking about?
but not immediately. It happened over the years.
What are you talking about? Automata was like an overnight success.
No, it was not.
What is this historical revisionism going on right now?
No, dude. No.
That game broke sales records for the franchise and for the awareness of it, and it started getting crossovers like super quick.
No, it wasn't super quick.
This is, by that franchise's standards, like maybe our definition of quick is different. I'm not saying it was in 2 days, but like it wasn't like 5 years.
I'm not saying it was 5 years either, but I'm just saying that like it wasn't like an immediate, like it was the year it came out. It was like if you know, you know, and then over time, more people played it, and then they were just like, oh, this is like what the thing that is really cool about this game is really cool, and then it got more and more popular. I'm not denying that like it, I'm just saying that it wasn't like the first month it came out, it was just a smashing success. That's all I'm saying. Because I remember like over the years it was like getting more and more popular.
2.5 million in its first 3 months, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta retract everything I just said then. Because I swear, like, I didn't know how well it sold in the beginning, but I just know that, like, people, like, the people that did play it, which, at, like, you know, at that point, weren't a lot, from what I saw, were like, yeah, this game's, like, really good. And then I played it based off those suggestions, and I didn't really enjoy the combat, so I stopped. and then it took me till like right before Near Replicant came out that I finally beat it, and I was just like, okay, I understand what this game's doing and it's cool.
Yeah. Like, I get you don't like it.
But,
I understand that. But, like, I feel like we're really ignoring how popular it is. Like, because of your personal,
I know
like...
Nier is popular. I do understand that. I know I'm in the minority where I say, like, Nier Automata didn't do it for me. Like, because, again, did a cool thing, does cool things narratively, but it's not fun to play. And that's where I take issue. But yeah, we can do Persona 4 Golden and then Nier Automata. I'm okay with that.
That's what we're doing.
I
gave a Persona 3 Reload for this cause, for this belief. Damn it.
Yeah, you tell that to the listeners, not me, because I'm just like, in my opinion, you fucked up.
I wish for variety.
24. So we have 2 more.
Oh, we're on 20. Okay, you keep doing that and throws me off. Okay, yeah, we're on number 24. Yeah, without introducing anything new into the mix, looking at what we have, my personal gut reaction is like Breath of Fire 3, and
that's what I was kind of thinking too.
Yeah, I think Breath of Fire 3. I'm going back and forth on Star Ocean 2 because, like, there are parallels between Star Ocean and Tales, and we have a Tales rep. So it's like, I feel like I could trade that out and include something else.
Yeah, but we don't have any sci-fi.
That's true. We don't have Phantasy Star.
Well, I mean, Nier is kind of sci-fi, but
Nier is sci-fi.
not,
It's a specific type of sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very post-apoc and like Yeah, I mean, if you want to push for like having like a very a more uplifting version of sci-fi, then yeah, like Star Ocean 2 is like it'd be Star Ocean 2 or Phantasy Star 4, and I think at least for our
Wild
knowledge
Arms,
base,
the Western though.
Yeah, I do like me some Westerns, and it is surprise sci-fi basically.
But Lunar is so good. Lunar is so good.
Oh wait, we haven't put Lunar on here yet. I thought we did. I didn't write it down in consideration. I would say Breath of Fire 3 and then Lunar then.
What if we... See, Nier Automata could just go and we could put something better on the list. We... but,
I'd be down to drop... I'm okay dropping, like, DQ8, and we just have, like, 3 HD 2D as the main rep.
No, that doesn't sit right with me. I haven't played it, but, like, that just doesn't sit right with me.
Okay.
What if we got rid of Live Alive for Star Ocean 2?
Live Alive is a very like close one to me personally, but like I get it. Like that would make more sense to me.
Okay. Now here's the thing. Oh man, I really want Wild Arms on this list, just because it's such its own thing too.
And there's not really any other Western out there.
Yeah, but I'm just like thinking about what to cut, and like what I would cut would be Earthbound, and I don't know if I don't know how that would go.
I don't think we can cut Earthbound, buddy. Like that's
So Star Ocean 2.
Like looking over this list as it is, I think for me the most cuttable, and again, like great games. Like this is we're fighting, trying to really narrow this down. I feel like we either get rid of an extra Dragon Quest rep, or or Star Ocean 2, which we just added. Like, I feel like as much as I do like Star Ocean 2, I think with just everything else going on in this list and like the bangers that are happening, if we're gonna get rid of something, like that for Wild Arms would be a trade that makes sense to me.
Have you played Wild Arms?
Not to completion.
Do you like Wild Arms more than Star Ocean 2?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying if we have to cut something because you want to get it on there, that's where I'm willing to make cuts.
Oh, man. I'm really happy that we got Ni no Kuni on here, though. I'm looking at this, and I'm just, like, I'm smiling. You know, some other ones that we didn't talk about, and I don't know if this is going to throw a wrench in things. Like, I was just thinking about it, like, Illusion of Gaia.
I did think about the Quintet games. Yeah, because it's Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terra Enigma, which are kind of a trilogy, kind of not.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Like, because that gets into a bit more of like the top-down action ones, and I think for me, if we were going with that, I would just push for Trials of Mana. But I understand, like, I understand the Illusion of Gaia love.
Because there's also the Lufia games, right?
Yeah, and Lufia is another big ol'. I know there's a lot of love for Lufia. That's a blank spot for me, so I just don't know how to argue for it, and I don't know what I would feel comfortable like removing for it.
Yeah, Secret of Evermore.
Nah.
Okay.
Secret of Evermore's cool, but like you might as well just do it. If we're gonna pick that, we're picking a mana game. Like that's just that's where that lands for me.
Okay, so it's like that. Okay, it's like that. Fuck, dude. That's tough. Wild Arms. I just think Wild Arms is not gonna make the cut.
Yeah, I get wanting it on there, especially because again, like what other westerns are there for that genre? Like other than other Wild Arms games. But with everything else we got going on.
Because like a Tales game has to be on the list. Like I understand that Tales games are basically like, I don't want, like, for lack of a better term, like more junk foody type JRPGs, right?
Yeah. Well, I also like them as a representative for like games that have that kind of fusion of real-time action, but it's still like party-based in like a random encounter, or not random encounters, but like, you know what I mean? Like you teleport to a battlefield until the later ones, at least.
Yeah, I guess like what I'm trying to say, and I'm not trying to like talk down because again, Tales of Symphonia is fantastic, and Vesperia is great too. I just think that overall that series, you kind of have a certain expectation on the quality of like the story and things like that.
Yeah,
with
well,
like
no, it's much tropier and
and you have like you get those rare outliers like Symphonia and Vesperia where they're like, oh, this is like better than I thought it was gonna be.
Right.
Breath of Fire. We need a rep on there.
Give Capcom something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is pretty skin tight. There's nothing on here that I'm just like, this has to, like, this can go for Wild Arms, which makes me very, very sad. But just know, to those listening, Wild Arms would have been 26. Wild Arms missed the cut.
Yeah.
If Nier Automata wasn't on this list, Wild Arms would be. But yeah, okay. So gonna read down the list from top to bottom in no particular order. We got Chrono Trigger, we got Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VI, Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake, Dragon Quest VIII, Fire Emblem Awakening, Final Fantasy Tactics, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Xenogears, Earthbound, Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver, Yakuza, Like a Dragon, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky, The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky Second Chapter, Suikoden 2, Skies of Arcadia, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, Valkyrie Profile, Tales of Symphonia, Persona 4 Golden, Nier Automata, Breath of Fire 3, Lunar, A Silver Star Story, and Star Ocean 2. We did it.
We did it. You know what might be a fun bonus episode? I'm not promising we do this right now. But maybe we do each make our own 25 and we just do a quick recording sometime and just be like, hey, here's that. Or we post them in the Discord, like, hey, here's where we each land for our own unique. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little tough for me because I just feel like a lot of the games I've played are from the same series. If that makes sense.
They're not as diverse of a list of.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I feel like my list would be kind of boring comparatively because you just have played a lot of the more older games that I haven't been able to get to yet.
Yeah, a lot of the a lot of the PS1 era and like.
Yeah, exactly. Again, like the SNES and PS1 era, which is the old golden era of JRPGs. I haven't played a lot of that yet, and that's something that I'm slowly working through. So
we did it.
Cool.
Sacrifices were made. We made our choices. There's a few on here where it's like the you ever go to the grocery store and you're like in the beer section and you see I don't know, diapers are just sitting in the hallway and you're like, oh, a choice was made here. We had a few of those happen right now.
Yeah, I mean, only Nier Automata for me. Only Nier Automata for me. But it just squeezed by, and so I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Madness.
I get it.
Madness.
I get it.
Yeah, for me, it's more about what was left off, but I know where we're trying to meet in the middle for certain things. So, all right.
Yep, we did it. Kevin, do you have anything for the people before we dip out?
No, not today. Everybody have a wonderful weekend.
Alrighty, everybody. You can follow me on socials at CamFinalMix, and you can follow Kevin on socials at Kevin Kenson. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode. And until next time, we'll catch you later.
Later.